Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Mel, a.k.a. Melarina. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. That's all I get? Is you good?
Yeah. I always feel like you sit there and wait for me to say something else, and I got nothing.
It's going to happen one of these days.
Someday.
But the guy who always has something to say, welcome back to the show, Mr. Scotty J. Hey, I arrived today.
Sorry, I wanted to be short and sweet like Mel. Why do I have to be any different? I was hoping he was going to ask how I was so I could just go, fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Hello again.
Thanks for coming. And joining us once again, your favorite guys, No Hit Jerome in the house. How you doing?
Yo, what's up, guys? Glad to be here. Just woke up. Watched some crazy hardcore deaths today. A Cargo's actually died in the All-Star circuit, so that was insane.
Oh,
So we're all
that.
processing that, and yeah, this has been a really fun day of WoW so far.
Poor Cargos. I'll have to send him some like an E card or something.
I'm sure that'll help a lot.
Yeah. Totally turned it around.
Yep. Turn that frown upside down. All right, guys. At the top of the show, I like to thank our tank patrons in Thick Lizzie, Croxford, Braxton, and Turtle Whale. I like to remind everybody that we stream the show live on Twitch, either Fridays or Saturdays at twitch.tv/BlazinBob, BLAZZINBOB. Got some new stuff in the works, guys. We finally have our own Discord server. We're soon going to be recording the show on there too. But I've got to get some bot stuff set up to do the recordings. But it's a server we're going to check. We're going to answer people on. So you should definitely go to discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded or check the link in the description below. Come hang out with us. And we've got some plans for the server, but it's brand new. So come in and hang out. What else? Yes. Also, voicemails. Leave those at 816-866-1066 or speakpipe.com/Warcraft Reloaded. We've got a few this week. We're going to go over those. Then we're going to go over what we've been doing lately. We're going to hit the news, which is really just a whole bunch of extra news for Ferals because this week was nuts on Ferals. And then
Meow.
to finish out the show, we're going to do a little sneak peek at Phase 3, Trial of the Grand Crusader, and things that are coming in Phase 3. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your time. All right, guys, we had a couple emails, or a couple voicemails. One of them I'm going to save for when we talk about Druids, but we'll go with these other ones first. This first one is a two-parter talking about some guild drama.
Hey, Mel and Bob. I wanted to call in with a little guild drama, try to make it as quick as possible. But our guild has been doing a lot of progression in Ulduar. Still haven't gotten it all down yet, but our main tank, he's been getting really upset recently. Maybe having a little tough time at work, but he's been really kind of taking it out on a lot of our DPS. He's been yelling a lot, and it's been causing a lot of friction between officers and him and me especially. I mean, I'm one of the officers too. And one specific raid night, I was not feeling good. This happened a week ago. We were at Yogg one night. We had already spent a night trying to kill him, and this was hopefully the week that we were going to do it. This was 8:30. We had actually gotten Yogg to the final phase, and he had already, at this point, left the guild as a joke after us wiping the clouds.
It's never a good joke.
And then we do one pull, and he gets upset at one of the DPS, even though it wasn't their fault, that he died to a crusher. And he ends up...
How is that a DPS's fault?
Yeah, well, that's what that was the first part, but that was what he was saying. He died to a crusher. He shouldn't even have been, if he was a paladin, he shouldn't even have been in melee range, like unless it was like during the time when the crusher's inactive. But here's the next part.
The raid. Yeah, he leaves the raid. And so at this point, I'm upset. Everyone's upset. So I leave the raid. I hearth. I open up guild chat. And I say, I am tired of this raid getting railroaded by this baby. I'm out. I log off. And the next day, I see in guild chat a big paragraph. You've probably seen it before. And it was a quit letter by the main tank. He's quit the game. The next raid, we have a new prop paladin, one of our good friends. We end up killing Yogg One Light. So it was a big improvement, actually. And I was really scared that people weren't going to like me. But the next raid, I get whispers saying, dude, thank you for someone finally really checked this guy. And I couldn't believe it. I thought everyone hated me. But just to make sure that it ends, just happy story, happy ending. He's actually back in the raid, and we forgave him. And we've actually since then killed XT, and we're going to be working on Hodir this week, getting closer to doing them all. All right. Thanks, Bob and Mel. See you guys.
Well, congrats on almost getting everything done. That's awesome. And yeah, guild drama, guys. Ending. Guild drama, like, I don't know why there's not like a channel, for like guild drama fails, like where you just get to see a whole bunch of clips of like different people raging out on the raid.
It's going to start happening more and more. This is like prime time for guilds disbanding and people leaving, and because everybody, well, I'm not saying everybody should have Ulduar on farm, but if you take raiding even remotely seriously, you should have killed everything by now. So there'll be people in these guilds that are expecting to kill all the bosses, and it's that time where people are going to start getting frustrated that they're looking around and everybody else is clearing the content and they're not. And well, I mean, I'm seeing it on our server. Lots of these, guilds that might have been stuck on 53 or 54, for example, and they're just disappearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely. I think it's that time of the expansion where frustrations get a little bit higher when you're wiping more frequently, or people think that they're better and they're with a lot of people that aren't as good as them, and I mean, sometimes it's them that's the problem.
We're still sitting at the majority of guilds not having 53 or 54. I mean, we're still it's still well over 50% of guilds that don't have that aren't at that spot 53 or 54, and 53 or 54 just means everything, including Algalon, Yogg 1 would be 53. Everything, including Yogg 0, would be 54. So it's a lot of people that just have not gotten that. And I think there's just a lot of bosses to progress. And I think I liked the way we did it. We, worked on like 2 hard modes a week, and like just had different things to work on each week. I feel like if you're trying to progress all hard modes every week and you don't have a lot of people in your guild that have already progressed it or done private servers, or you guys just raid a ton. Like if you're trying to raid 4 to 5 hours a week and you're trying to progress all the hard modes at once, that could be unbelievably daunting. So
yeah, and I think it's both on both sides where guilds are going to start seeing people leaving, people quitting. We've had one of ours take a break now till phase 3. Literally, he only told me last night. And it's going to be either the guilds that can't get all the content down, so they're getting frustrated, or the guilds like ours that have got all the content down and find wiping once infuriating. Right. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's happy, you're having a really good time. You have one wipe on a boss and everyone's instant toxicity. It's like, why have we just wiped? We've done this every week for 14 weeks or whatever it's been now. Why have we just wiped on it? And it's like, well, mistakes still happen.
Yeah, shit happens, dude. It's one of the, shit happens. I don't know. I get
Well,
a little upset if we're wiping a ton on different things, and it's because of people just not paying attention during the polls and stuff. Like that can upset me, but still, at the same time, it's a game.
Our wipes are always like just people. Big dickery is what I call it. You know, like when you're on Freya, the little exploding ads, people wanting to. Just absolutely blow them up and then like not run out because they don't want to stop DPSing and then they die. And it's all of that. It's the passing mentality that causes wipes for us.
Yeah. Well, and then warriors trying to do like warriors, just sapper. And that's it. Like, don't like cleave because you're gonna kill 4 of them extremely fast, and then like 2 to 4, and then we're gonna be all screwed. But they need to do it to parse, and so therefore they do it, and it's just kind of the world we live in. I don't know we've talked about it many times.
The guild that I've been in since TBC just disbanded because we weren't able to kill Algalon, and it really hurt, but it was like, just we kept going in. I think we were making really good progress too. And it's weird sometimes making progress, and then like that's a really bad thing because then you step back the next week. And it's even more frustrating, right? If you kill Algalon one week and you don't kill it the second week, that can actually be more toxic. So It's almost like a little bit of success can be a bad thing. Like we had Algalon down to like 25, 30%, and then we don't do it the next week, and it's like that's the disband, right? And it was just getting more and more frustrating for everybody involved. And now I just do GDKPs, and I can kill it relatively simply, but I don't know. It's so disappointing to me that so many guilds are disbanding because I just think. The next 2 phases are going to be so fun for guilds and TOC. Like nobody's disbanding in TOC unless they're quitting the game, right? It's going to be so different. So I feel like if people could just hold on, it'll be way better.
If you've really like put in the time though, like to get like a ton of 252, you're not looking at a huge upgrade going into TOC. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the TOC spot. But yeah.
Well, the other
guild
thing
drama
you said.
sucks.
The other thing he said, which I think is funny, is, he thought people were going to be mad at him for, kind of lashing out at this guy. And I think the reality of it is that typically everybody's in the same boat, just nobody wants to say something, especially if it's your main tank, right? You're like, okay, well, we could probably deal with that because what's the result if he leaves, right? And I think when somebody finally does stand up, you realize you guys are going to be fine. Then it's, the reality sets in that like finally somebody did what everybody was hoping you would do. And I think the longer you keep around a toxic person like that, the more good people that are going to leave. Yeah. And sometimes they just need to be put in their place. And it sounds like he came back and hopefully he learned.
Yep. Yeah. It's a life lesson too. Like everybody thinks they're even, like main tanks, like everybody thinks they're unreplaceable, and the reality is everyone's replaceable. Some harder, but everybody's replaceable. So
that really helps me when I'm raiding because I feel very replaceable all the time. So I do everything I'm told, and I really try to not make mistakes because I don't feel like, I guess just as a healer, it just feels like there's not, unless you're like the Holy Paladin with Valinir, it feels like you could be replaced pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think I'm the hardest on myself. Like, wonder if I could get all the clips of my stream where I'm like, I'm a freaking idiot. Like every time I die, I'm like, oh my god, I could have done this. Moron.
The video would be too long, Bob.
I know, it'd be so long. All right, well, here, let's get on to the next one from our friend Mega Man.
Hey, Bob, Mel, hopefully I can get this right this time. So I have a question about RFD and early game gearing. Why do you think Blizzard doesn't put RFD in the game at this point? It's not because of the social interaction, whispering INV or greed/end or need, and we know that people aren't talking about mechanics, aside from gear score or people not wanting people to run with PvP gear. I don't see how it's being used as anything but a gatekeeping tool. Secondly, if they do bring in RFD, do you think it should be cross-realm and cross-faction? Or just cross-faction like it used to be? I also think we're at the
you
point
meant cross-realm like it used to be.
Are we at the point where Blizzard needs to implement some type of catch-up mechanism before people even enter heroics? like maybe letting people get emblems of heroism to get at least their badge gear before they can maybe get closer to that 4K gear score. Because if people are at the point where, well, I want to play a DPS, but they're not going to let me in without 4K gear score, or I have to run a tank or a healer because, well, they're probably not going to care if you're either one of those, because those are more hard to find just to gear the DPS that I want to play. I could just see a lot of people burning out and quitting. It's a parse mentality, this mid-max mentality, to the point where it feels like it's kind of killing one of the best aspects of Wrath. At this point, I almost wonder, is Classic and Dragonflight more casual friendly, not because of the expansion, but because of the player base that plays it? Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. Hope you guys all have a good show. This is the Mega Casual signing out.
Okay, so
Just want to say, Bob, I really thought it was about to be a long voicemail about Razorfin Downs. I was like, RFD, why specifically RFD? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some good plate items in there, but
we knew what he meant.
Why are we talking about that place?
We knew what he meant. He meant
I was
LFG.
trying to think. I was like, what is RFD? Is that, did I? No, I was very confused.
He meant random dungeon finder, or you know, looking for dungeon in the way it was implemented at the end. But real quick, on top of that, there is already a catch-up mechanic that Wrath actually launched with, and that's where doing all the quests that change your environment, like mostly in Storm Peaks and in Ice Crown, you do all those. I mean, it's something like 180 badges of heroism, like when it's all said and done. And that's just true, from
but
questing.
Why haven't they updated those to Valor, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Them up a notch? Because I went back and I just tested recently just to see, and it feels like that would be a great way to get people caught up. Would be to make those quests now give a higher tier of emblem.
I thought that too. Like, I just thought that while listening to his voicemail. I was like, why don't they just change that? Although Scotty was pretty against it in the beginning. So what would you think of them changing those to giving valor instead of heroism?
I honestly don't see any issues with how it is at the moment. I mean, you can get like full 187 crafted gear off the auction house. You know, we're talking, you haven't bought gold, you haven't got, you know, another character or anything like that. You know, going out and doing some quests, getting some 187 from quests, buying 187 crafted gear, that's going to get you in heroics. I actually think, from what I've seen on the two servers I play on, the community is nowhere near as gear score orientated as private servers are. Yes, there's a lot of, like, you know, whisper me your gear score, but I've leveled a couple of alts, well, one of them now my main, you know, on a completely different server where I had nothing, and I couldn't even use heirlooms or anything because it was on a completely separate Battle.net account. And I was getting in heroics and heroic plus, you know, with like 3.3k gear score and stuff like that. I just didn't have anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was lucky because I had people like Go, Mincy, you know, just funneling me gold to, I got geared very quick, but still don't have problems getting into anything.
I haven't seen a problem either. Now, I am on benediction, you know, so that is definitely a thing. But like, I mean, I don't think I'm like a weird butterfly, but I take people with 3.5 gear score. I don't care. Like, I mean, I do heroics all the time still. I'm still trying to do Violet Hold to get my freaking tank trinket for the last part of my block set. And I mean, I take people that are super low all the time. Like, I mean, I don't care. Like, it's a body. Like, I mean, they're not that hard.
Yeah, I think unless everybody's really low, it's hard, right? Like, if everybody's really low, I guess it could get difficult. But even then, I don't feel like there's anybody pushing people away when they're low gear score. And if there are, there's 6 other groups that are like, whatever. You know what I mean?
I think it's also a bit of the fact that it's an MMO, and like I think that gets lost on a lot of people now.
I know.
Where it's like, I'm going to start on a new server, I'm going to level to 80, I'm going to get geared, and I'm going to start raiding. Yet they don't want to join a guild. They don't want to actually talk to anyone. They don't want, like, if I was to start fresh on a completely different server, the first thing, like, let's say I was going to come onto your server, the first thing I would be doing is trying to find a guild before I even start on there, because it would be like, right, them people that you're going to talk to while you're leveling, they're probably going to come and help you with some quests. And then when you actually get to max level, obviously they know that you've put the time in, so they'll do heroics for you.
Well, remember the episode we did with Angry Druid talking all about achievements? He is planning on moving all of his stuff over to Benediction, and he got with me like, it's like he still needs to complete his Valinir, but so it's a couple of weeks out. But he got with me. It was like, hey, like, is there an opening in your guild? What are your raid times? Like, and he's looking all over the server trying to find a good spot for a good fit for him, and that's just what you should be doing in an MMO, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to get back to the RDF discussion, which is like, Activision has always really cared about engagement in their games, right? It's one of the metrics they come out with when they're talking about the success of their games. Wouldn't RDF increase dungeon activity? Wouldn't more people want to do dungeons if they could just queue up for them?
Oh yeah.
I don't understand why the game is purposely lowering the engagement. What are we building from having less people doing dungeons? Why? It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, well, we should clarify. Me and Scotty J are definitely for Random Dungeon Finder.
Yeah.
We're just saying that it really hasn't been as bad as people will make it out to be.
No, it hasn't been that bad.
But,
I just don't understand why. It could be
why not?
Better, right?
Yeah, why not have it now? Like, maybe for the beginning, and especially why not have it for 1 to 70? Because
that would be perfect.
Yeah, finding groups for those outside of hardcore or outside of like, finding groups for those in Wrath is not easy. It's easy.
Yeah. The
first couple weeks, joyous journeys hits, like that's easy because everybody's like on the same page. But like for leveling up, I would love to just level up straight RDF quest, while I'm in queue, go right back to where I was questing before. Like that would be a blast. And there's some dungeons I'm not going to walk to.
Not having RDF at launch was pretty great. I think it worked out really well. But at this point, we're half a year in. You might as well just put it in.
More people would play the game. It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. I would play I play the game a lot already, but I would probably play the game more.
I would work up a lot more characters.
I want to level another character. Yeah, but I just can't be bothered. Exactly. But with Random Dungeon Finder, absolutely, I'd be 100%. All over it.
Yeah, and like there's so many cool dungeons that I'm just not going to walk to. I'm not going to walk to Serpent Stride Cavern. I'm just not going to do it, and then possibly not get to run it. Like I'm just not going to do it. And so like, I definitely did those all when Classic came back. It was a good journey, but now I just want to play. I don't want to walk. Like, that's basically where I'm at.
Flying on all my characters because I can't afford epic flying. So my warrior has to fly everywhere, and it's really embarrassing. So
it is so embarrassing.
I have all my golden investments, and I don't want to buy epic flying. So
now, Jerome, it's not as embarrassing as it was in TBC, going 60% and watching people on their epic mounts below you pass you.
I realized at some point just riding on the ground was faster, and I just started doing that instead. And I was like, okay, well,
it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. All right. Well, all right. What else did he hit on in there? He hit on something else.
Definitely Razorfen down. So I think that's maybe his favorite dungeon, and he wants people to run it more. So yeah, I don't. It doesn't really appeal to me. It's one of my least favorite, but I don't know.
I like Razorfen Downs. Actually, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but not bad one, is it?
It's not one of your favorites.
I actually ran it.
It's not one of my favorite. I wouldn't make a voicemail about it or anything, but
it's not top 20. So
that's the one with the big circle in the middle where you go up and kill. Yes. Okay, I ran that 8 times the other day. Found a nice little skip for any rogue that might come along to Simonize's all rogue AQ. If you're looking to get that cold rage dagger.
Yeah, that's what I used to do our Razorfen downs for there's some kind of frost weapon or something, right?
Yeah. The cold, I think it's cold rage dagger. Yeah. So I went and got 2 of those.
That's pretty fun.
And if you go to the right, as soon as you come in the dungeon, you go right to where you can rocket boots and use your parachute and skip the whole, almost the
Wow.
entire run up, because like you kill everything easy, but like you just have to run around in a circle. And it took me a long time. The first 3 times I was like, I bet I can just jump this. And I jumped it and I was like, did the rest of the runs in like 2 to 3 minutes a run. It was pretty great. But yeah, I think there was something else he put in there that the gatekeeping. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, the whole gear score thing. I just don't see that happening a ton. It's just a gauge, like, I mean, and it's a smart gauge. If you're setting up a GDKP or a pug run, I mean, you need to be at a certain threshold. Trying to have you at a threshold of an actual, like somebody who's actually super geared is crazy. And then those raids just will never get off the ground. But like, you have to have some sort of gauge, and gear score kind of just makes it a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, what have you guys been up to? Who wants to go first?
Jerome, go on.
Oh, I've been having quite a journey. So I've leveled like 5 hardcore characters that have all died around level 30. So I just keep basically when I started for the hardcore all-star circuit. So you have to go from 1 to 60, and you do all these different dungeons with your team. And unfortunately, I'm not quite as safe at leveling as I thought I was. So I'd get to like level 27, and then I just die to something random. And every time I'm coming back, the server's getting more crowded. So I don't know what's going on, but the server went from like empty, and then it's medium. The second time I level, it's a little bit slower, and then it's like more crowded. And by now, there's like 500 people in every zone. So it's just more and more toxic to relevel, and it's getting worse and worse and slower and slower. And I just keep doing it over and over again. So it's great. Yeah.
Well, all the retail, I guess something's going on with the current arena season in retail. So all those popular guys like Peekaboo and Zayu, I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of hardcore.
Yeah, they're just bringing more and more people into the scene. Streamers are just blowing it up, and so.
Can I just give a hot take? Can they just stop doing that? I need my server. I'm gonna go play on Old Blanchy pretty soon. I'm going.
At least it makes it easy to find your group for your, because you could do you could do each dungeon one time, so it makes it nice and easy to find those groups snappy, right?
I would be accepting the circuit. I'm not allowed to do them outside of my own group. So I have to reject like 20 people every day and just be like, yeah, I can't do this. Sorry. And so, yeah, it's even worse for me. Yeah.
Yeah. The worst part about hardcore is just waiting for the named mobs for different quests. Like sometimes I'll just end up skipping them because.
Oh, the best part though, there's been lines, a lot of lines. And I don't want to get into this, but I did show up to a line. I stole the tag. I gaslit everybody in the line that somebody else stole it, and then I left. So yeah, that was pretty messed up. I'm not gonna lie.
I am guilty of stealing my fair amount of tags. Sorry. Like I feel bad, but make a macro /target so-and-so mob / Moonfire. Like, I mean.
The best thing I saw was on Princess. There was an orc standing in line for Princess, and if you know Princess, that's an Alliance early game quest. It's like it's so crowded, the orcs are killing Princess. I can't handle this.
Oh god,
it's good though. It's good to see it that busy. Do you know what I mean?
It is nice.
It's thriving.
I always say I'd rather have it be crowded than empty. So
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just want it to be crowded when you're not playing. Like everybody leave when you log on.
100%.
So you can do your stuff. Yeah.
What about you, Scotty? What have you been up to?
Raiding. Honestly, that's it. Well, as we speak, I'm starting another druid. As much as I have been saying that I'm falling out of love with druid, I still need an alt druid on every server I play on. So.
Not to interrupt, but this man right before the stream said he was just like going through the motions on his druid, and now he's making another one. I don't know what to believe now.
Look, I've played a druid for so long, it feels wrong not having a druid on any server that I play on. So
yeah, you gotta have like 5 of them, of course. Yeah,
exactly. So I haven't got one on Mancrick, so all I've got on there is my priest and paladin. So I'm going to level a druid just so I've got something else to raid on. At the moment, I do full 25-man hard mode on as Feral, full 25 as Holy Paladin, Shadow Priest, and now I'm going to do a 25 tonight for the first time on my new Alt Paladin, which is going to be, it's prot. I'd prefer it to be prot, but it's holy, prot, holy, and I'm healing tonight. So I don't want to heal without Valanir. Not when I got Valanir on the main Paladin. You know what I mean? I'd have rather have been prot on my Alt Paladin. So yeah, I'm doing 25 man and 10 man on 4 characters every week, and yeah, once I get the Druid up, it'll be 5. So a lot of reading.
Pretty random big flex out of nowhere that you have Valanir. I didn't know about this, and I'm a little bit jealous now. So
I've had it for, if you want a bigger flex, I've had it for weeks, mate. It's nothing new.
I'm pretty annoyed right now. Yeah, I'm next in line for Valanir in like 2 months. So
oh, lovely.
Yeah, I'll have it by ICC.
My paladin, my main paladin, it don't even need to do 25 man anymore. It can just sit and wait for top, really. I need one item. I'm literally one item off full bis, and I won't take it because it's the cloth boots from Yogg. So I'm not going to take cloth boots as a paladin, you know.
Yeah, Scotty was like 5,300 gear score in like week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I remember Channibal being like 5,200 in the first week, and I'm like, this is just really annoying. I don't like these updates. Maybe you guys can just stop updating me on everyone's gear score as I'm like 4,500.
What are you up to now?
I am, I think 4,950. So I'm pretty embarrassingly low.
Well,
not to take over Scotty's part, but I just bought a Consulus, so my Disc Priest is blasting and it's feeling so much better.
I got the Consulus.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe how good it is.
My consolation prize for not getting Valanir.
I think I'm going to say it. It feels better on a Disc Priest than Valanir.
Yeah, my rogue's over 5,200 now, but it's funny because most of my items are 10-man hardboat stuff. Like I've got 9 10-man hardboat things, and I think 8 of them are
so weird
bis.
having like the Resto Druid staff from 10-man and being like, well, this is probably all I'm going to have the rest of the phase, and I got it the first week. Like that's it.
Yeah, I'm not having quite as much luck on my my Shadow Priest. Like my main on NA. Yeah, well, when I say not having quite as much luck, obviously I've only been raiding with Go and the guys for 2 months. I think next reset will be like my 9th reset, something like that. But I've literally not got a single 252 piece. You know,
really?
I'm like,
my new rogue is pretty is having some bad luck, or I should actually like say it correctly. He's not having bad luck. It turns out I'm a cheap son of a bitch in GDKPs, and I just I want the bargain bin items, and I'm like, oh, 5K is too much for me now. Okay, all right, good.
I love bidding on everything that's cheap and passing on anything that gets even remotely expensive. And
that's what I do too.
The question is, do we like come off as the good guys in the run by buying all the cheap stuff, or do people like hate us for not buying anything expensive? Because I feel like I'm being a good guy, but I'm not sure if that's just like a delusional thing to just buy the cheap stuff.
They'd rather you bid people up, right?
Yeah, I think people would rather me be like the high roller, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. The other constant, I mean, usually I'm one of the, in like the top 5 DPS in the run. So I feel like I'm doing something, But yeah, it's, I'm pretty cheap, I've found out.
Yeah, I know the feeling when you start to try to like explain away why you're not bidding by being like, yeah, I'm top 5 DPS. Yeah, I've also heard that line before.
Hey man, I'm just sucking on some copium, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Mel, what have you been up to?
Oh, not much. Just raiding and helping Bob do Violet Hold reluctantly every day. I really don't think he needs me. I keep trying to tell him that we can duo it, and he won't even try. And then I heal it, and I really don't do anything. I just kind of throw a shield here and there. Although he did almost die because I was looking at chat or something. I was browsing Discord, and
I mean, we probably
over and I was
could duo, I don't think we'd want to do the heroic plus, but I mean, we just need to do heroic. I guess I'm 50, my tank's 5,100 something. What's your priest at now? Like 51?
50.
I mean, we maybe could do it. It just seems like, why not bring other people and make it easier?
It's so sad doing Violet Hold on a priest when you could be on a Resto Druid and just have a macro and you one-shot all the illusions, and it's like the most fun thing ever with Moonfire. But then you go back to your priest and you got a wand. It's horrible.
Yeah. See, I don't wand. I just look at Discord or You know.
Oh, and then the illusions probably kill everyone.
We also
They don't
did.
touch me. I fade. Like, it's fine.
We also
I never bought
did
Fade.
Noble Garden, and we used No Hit Jerome's guide. And
Oh yeah.
by the way, No Hit, I need to thank you. I don't know if I've thanked you. I love your freaking spreadsheet. It's not a spreadsheet, but you make a document to go along with each of
Yeah,
those.
it's a little checklist and stuff.
And
yeah.
I just check off the stuff, and I love that. So
Fantastic. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you for those, man, because I've used them for every single one, starting with Brewfest.
Oh, great. Well, Children's Week is coming. I'm just saying. And
Mhm.
I do think they kind of, not to get off on a tangent, I think they made Children's Week a lot easier. I don't think you're going to have to take your children to like PvP anymore. So
I believe they took the PvP
That's
stuff
a
out of the
buzz
meta.
there was so much griefing and toxicity around that. That's going to be gone now. Sorry, I got off topic.
You mean they maybe think that taking children into a battle and having them die is a bad
Well,
law?
the
No,
children
they
never
were
die.
dying.
Yeah, the children, you can't hurt the children.
Yeah,
They're just
it's
there.
more that you had to do very like
You're
not
just
helpful things
traumatizing
to
them.
win.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
they're
had to,
just
like-
there to become emotionally scarred. Is all.
Yes, yes.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
but
I
we're
will say-
Force
transitioning into
Hill,
Noble Garden
son.
because God, that event. Although the video looks very positive, watching people steal my eggs is making me very, very angry.
Oh, dude.
No,
I'm not
listen,
100% done, and the event's over in like a couple hours.
You're
so
not?
I am.
Oh, dude,
Yeah, I
go
have
to Dry and I starting area.
Exodar. Go to Exodar. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
I am
So,
about
I'm
to
gonna-
crush some people for eggs.
Well,
No,
there's
no,
so
you
many
spend
more
this
eggs
one
there than
spot-
any of the other three places. I don't know if
yeah,
it's because
100%.
I don't know why, but there's so many eggs there. Like,
Yeah.
we went to
I-
all four spots, and we're like, okay, well, let's go back to Exodar. Like, this is nuts. And then we got
Yeah.
done.
I'd stand in one spot and there was like 6 eggs that would spawn around me, and 2 of them were within my reach and just standing in one spot, right? And they would spawn like super fast. But I will say I was a much better egg gatherer than Bob.
To
Yeah,
This
us.
is a
it's
real
not very
question.
good.
I look at chat
Are
a
you
lot.
a camper or do you run around? Because that's the age-old Noble Garden question. Is it better? It's technically more efficient for the whole server if you camp, right? Because everyone has a spot. But if you run around and you steal people's eggs, then you probably could get more on a less populated area.
We did both.
So I ran around initially. And in running around, I think in like the Iron Forge and the Stormwind area was more lucrative.
Yeah.
But running around in Exodar, it was fine, and you could get a lot of eggs. And I think I got more than where Bob was camping out at one spot.
Poor Bob.
But then I found the right spot to camp out at, and it was much more efficient. And I just saw
Yeah.
these people running around, and there was a druid that I really disliked because he would try to catch me slipping and try to steal my eggs a lot. But for the most part, they respected my spot.
Don't go to Falcon Wing Square on Fairlena. There's like 9 people on top of the wagon, which also has like a 6 spawn, and they're just all sitting there, and it's so infuriating.
Yeah,
Has-
nobody sat on my spot. Like anybody that came by and tried to steal an egg, they just tried to gank like one egg. Nobody
Yeah.
like sat there with me.
They knew better than to take your eggs, Mel.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
was like, listen.
the picnic basket is just the bomb. Like, just being able
great.
to constantly sprint, and you're a bunny rabbit too. Hunting
Yeah,
rabbits.
it's a nice event. Have you been doing any, Scotty?
No.
He's a no.
No. The only way you could say that I've done something in that event is I was about to pull a boss and got turned into a rabbit and then kicked someone from the guild. That's my participation to the event.
Did you really kick them?
No.
Okay.
I just added that for comical effect.
No, that
Sorry.
was great. I like the addition. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we had a lot of.
Someone's gonna be like, wait, I got kicked from the guild?
It really did happen though. I really did get turned into a rabbit when I was just about to pull a boss.
I think I see a new viewer call-in coming next week. I got kicked from a guild for just an innocent prank.
I've
Oh,
got
God.
5 of those little rabbit things. I'm hoping they don't disappear because I want to use them at random times.
You know
So-
what's so disappointing about that event, though, is the Noble Garden egg, right? If it didn't have that 1 hour expiration, it'd be so fun to put an egg somewhere and just come back like 6 months later and see if it's still there.
I know,
Like, right now,
yeah.
that'd be awesome.
I will say the one where you had to get being on Benediction. You know how you have to always get like all the races and different things like that.
Just a crowd favorite for everyone.
Yeah. Well, we're
So,
headed to Thunder
This
Bluff.
time- hold on. So this time they have to be level 18. So
Yeah.
you can't just
For legal
make
reasons.
characters, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
were
so-
headed to make characters, and we were like, "Oh, we can't do that. They have to be 18."
So we were
Well, get
like,
to leveling.
okay, we'll go to Wintergrasp, right? Which I'm sure everybody in Wintergrasp loves when these events go on.
Yeah,
Because not only do we have to go to Wintergrasp, but when we're in Wintergrasp, we have to like have this like different main hand on and use that, or maybe it was the chest. I don't remember.
main hand,
But-
spring flowers.
Yeah. So we're there, but then there's a 5-minute cooldown on the damn thing. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So I have to wait 5
I was like,
minutes.
"All right,
in
I guess I'll
between
go kill people
having to
now."
get a troll and all of this. And then I got like my second to last one, and there was 5 minutes and like 18 seconds left in the Wintergrasp. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to cut it close. I'm going to have a really short amount of time to get my last one because I don't have to come back in here. And I got it like right, like with like 2 seconds left, and I immediately died after I.
This is
Like,
such a great
yeah.
narrative story. It would be such a good like YouTube short. It's like I have 5 minutes left to get this tag, or I'll never get it. And the event's
And
gonna
my
end.
cooldown was 5 minutes, so I had like
Yes,
18-second
perfect.
window
Yep.
to
And-
get
You had to
this
find
tag.
the right race, right?
And,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Ooh, troll!" And you're going to the troll, and then some asshole CCs you. You're like, "Dude,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do something here. What are you
I'm not
you're trying to
trolling.
actually PvP in here? What the hell?"
Looking back 15 years in advance, I'm now saying that finding the specific race class combos was definitely not a good idea. I don't.
No.
Whoever came up with that, I don't think it was a great success.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
Yes.
At least these were just races and not
can
race
tell
class combos.
By the end of all these events, and they were like slowly phasing out the more annoying parts. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't do the specific race and class combos.
But
Oh man, yeah, but it was. I mean, it was an easier event than normal, but
Yes.
the spring flowers are dangerous. They are very, very dangerous.
I gotta go
People,
to the bathroom. I'll be back.
make sure you put your staff back on, because Mel here killed Algalon 10 the day after we did all of the achievements. And after they downed Algalon, Mel noticed something.
I didn't notice. Somebody else told me.
Oh, yeah, somebody else told her. Mel was wearing spring flowers for the entire Algalon kill.
And
That's a
Iron
great story.
Council. But I didn't have. So I think they were on a button on my bar which equipped them. It was the spring flowers and the dress. Okay. I think they
God,
were
you
on
were
a-
in the dress too?
So you didn't have
think so.
a chess piece either, I think.
Yes.
That's-
so
that's-
But she was able to
fantastic.
plant a flower.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
I-
Mel's overpowered. Confirmed. Yeah, is that what we're saying?
Rifkin brings up a
Nerf
great
Mel?
point that
To
you no
be
longer
fair, we
need any
wiped, like,
gear.
we
You're not a
wiped
very
like
gear-dependent player.
twice. We wiped like twice, and everybody's trying to figure out like what's going on. And I was like, I don't know. This tank is taking a lot of damage.
I had that exact same thing happen. We were on Algalon, 30% left. I could not get the heals out, right? I'm on my priest. I couldn't get the heals out.
Uh-huh.
I look over and all of my gear was red, and nobody had noticed, and all of it
Yeah.
was red. And
Yeah.
we killed it, but it was like the time after. But that time, no one knew why we wiped, but I knew why.
Yeah, I knew why. I did not know why. We went through all of hard mode Iron Council and Algalon, and it was fine-ish, right? They were a little bit tougher than they probably would have been if I had my gear on. But yeah, then so I don't know. I think because the first couple bosses I had my right gear on because I checked it when I got in there, but I think they were on like a button on my screen, like attached to a part of the bar that had like I must have pressed the button that equipped them on accident right before Iron Council and didn't notice it.
Mel's
fine.
been known to do entire raids with fishing poles too.
I don't
That's
know,
why she
Scotty,
doesn't
if
do
you
the
a lot of-
fishing daily anymore.
if you do a lot of dual spec on your druid, Scotty, but when I play resto, I have to dual spec for Hodir, right? And I will literally be in my DPS spec gear for the rest of the raid without realizing. And I'll have like DPS trinkets on. I'll have like DPS. Everything is DPS, and I'll notice like at the end of the raid every time. So I'm really having a problem with that.
I had a problem early on.
Healed,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I healed XT, XT and Algalon in like 50-50 prot and holy gear on my paladin. And when Algalon died, I literally blamed the tank. I was like, you was taking fucking loads of damage. I'm spamming holy light, and like I'm really having mana issues and everything. It died, like we killed it, and then someone said, why? Like, why are you using, I don't know, whatever tank? I might have been using Ceralas or something like that. Why have you got Ceralas on? And I've looked. This was like a couple of months ago. You know, I've looked and I had all my eye level gear on for Flame Leviathan, and then never took it off. Obviously,
that was what I was going to say too.
I feel like
pretty
my
rough.
mechanics get better when I have the wrong gear on too. It's like that's what you're saying. You're playing perfectly, everything's perfect, and the tank's getting clapped. It's like it's for some reason the worse gear I have, the better I feel like I play, and then I realize what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "Well, I was looking at your gear score, Mel. It looks like you had spring flowers on. I was wondering why it was so low." And I was like,
it looks like your gear score was 3,600 on Algalon. Yeah. That's a little low, but
yeah, dude, weapons are a huge part of your gear score. I was doing the dailies up in, you know, where you have to use the lance. And I was like, damn, this drops me like 700 points when I take off my main hand.
It's really stupid though. I'm sorry, Taco Tip creators, but I got Constellus, which is like a massive upgrade, and I took off like Rapture, which is like a pretty mediocre staff, and my gear score skyrocketed down because I didn't have a 232 offhand or anything good. So it's just like I get penalized for having a way better weapon, and it's just like it's kind of silly.
Yeah, it's definitely not a perfect perfect thing, because especially with trinkets and stuff, sometimes like way lower level trinkets are way better and stuff too. So it's good, yeah. Whatever. But yeah, I've done the whole, like, it was early on. I had like some claw stuff from like, you know, from Malagos and stuff like that. Like there was just 226 gear that I would put on for Flame Leviathan in the first couple of weeks. And I definitely did a couple Ignises with, you know, those on. So definitely been there and
Easily
done that.
well, now I run anything and everybody in the raid is like, Mel, can we get a gear check real fast? Just make sure you got all your stuff on. I'm like, okay, one time. Well, it was probably
you've done the fishing pole thing many times. The best was when you were a priest in Vanilla. You had benediction, which was so obvious of a thing on your screen, and you didn't notice not having it on for an entire Molten Core.
Listen, when you're a healer, you're not looking at your character. You're looking at the raid frames. Like, I have no idea what my character looks like. Ever. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess one other thing I finally got a combat rogue 99 parse. I've got tons of 98s, 97s, 96s. Just couldn't get that 99 and finally got it on XT. And I even had to run out once for the black hole, and it was late in the fight, so I had to like sprint all the way to the back of the room and drop it, and then all the way back. But pretty sweet.
So you're
felt
telling
pretty
me
good.
You had a 100 parse lined up right there. If that doesn't happen,
Yep,
you might be the single best rogue in the world.
70. I think my number was 70. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I was just like, damn. I also made a change. I've been dumb this whole time. I don't know why, but in my main raid, I still kept my 17% spell hit. Like, even though we had a boomy and, you know, we had the like 3%, and I just changed that this last week and really jumped up. Like, so I was like, I don't know. Like, I just always thought, well, for 10 mans, if I don't have the buff, I don't have to worry about it. But now I could just swap out one hit trinket if I don't have the buff, and then I'm good. So it works out. But I was pretty proud of myself there. You know, we don't have the fastest kill times.
Assassination, or do you only play combat, Bob?
I play assassinations in 10 man. Sometimes just depending on the group. Because sometimes it just makes more sense to just do more damage there. but I'm the guild combat rogue. So unless we arms suddenly becomes good, then I'm going to be combat for the duration. I do, but if my other rogue happens to get daggers over combat weapons, I'll go, assassination. But I do enjoy the skill gap with combat, and assassination does have different, like, it's definitely not as brain dead as people make it out to be. There's like different things you got to do, but it's a very slow rotation, like do, like, whereas combat's like, so for my personality, combat just works better because I can mash those buttons.
It's a great callback.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's crazy too because I have two of the Bis daggers. What are they called? Twisted. No.
From Freya.
Yeah.
Blade Twisters.
Yeah, I've got two of those because we didn't have, when the second one dropped, I was the only rogue. I was like, I'll take it for 10 mans.
Nice.
Yeah, so our assassination rogue has two boot blades, and he's always looking at me like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I like assassination. I mean, I like combat, but I've got a rogue that I raid on occasionally. But yeah, I like assassination. It's just chill.
Yeah, there's something.
I know what you mean. Combat, you feel like you have to work harder for less damage.
Yeah,
that's how I feel when I'm playing combat. Whereas assassination, I can just sit and watch Netflix, press two buttons, chilling.
Yeah, I used my boost on a rogue, and I never played it. So I maybe this is. Do you think I should get into rogue gameplay, or is it not worth it at this point?
Oh, rogue's
I
great.
find it fun.
Oh yeah, rogue's great. And I mean, assassination is fun. Like, I do have a good time when I play it. I don't like. It's very pigeonholed though. So like, as a combat rogue, I could switch out poisons pretty easily for different utility, but an assassination rogue, really, if you switch out either poison, like you can't switch out deadly poison. Like, you just have to have it for your rotation or your really bad DPS. You're using Eviscerate. And then if you switch out instant, like, you're losing your highest damage. Like, that's your highest damage dealing thing. Like, if you look on the chart, instant poison is like 50% of your overall damage. So switching to wound, like, really screws you there. And then you can't switch out glyphs. Like, with combat to parse, you got to carry like 10 different glyphs in your pocket because, like, you're switching them out constantly. Whereas assassination, like, there's two of them that are locked in, and then you're either using feint because you want to get the most damage, or you're forced to do armor pen because you don't have a combat rogue or a warrior. So assassination is just kind of pigeonholed into just a straight DPS bot, right?
See, the more that I'm trying to get better at this game lately, the more I have to bring more additional glyphs. And it's like, I kind of just want to go back to the world where I didn't think about glyph swapping or didn't even know about it, because this is not the life I want to live.
I really wish there was a cooldown on it. Just because, like,
instead of, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Instead of buffing Feral, can they just get rid of swapping glyphs? That would be great.
Not long, and then in Kata, all you need is some dust on you, and you can change glyphs whenever you want. That's much better system.
Yeah, you don't have to, because like in Kata, you just switch it, right? You just like.
I'm raiding on Kata already.
I can feel the knowledge radiating off of you.
Because in Kata, if you've gotten the glyph before, you could switch back to it, right?
Yeah. You literally, it's like a collections tab, really. You just,
it's like a memory foam mattress. It just never forgets.
Exactly. Once you've collected each glyph once, you just need Dust of Disappearance, and then switch glyphs whenever you want.
Yeah, when I'm trying to switch glyphs, like, they're starting to pull, and I'm like, damn it, I missed my potion. So it's just a big pain in the ass.
It really is.
But yeah, all right. Where were we? I'm lost now. Was that it? Does anybody have anything else they've been doing this week? We should probably just move on.
I'll drag us back. I'm leveling a Fury Warrior, and I can't stop. Feels good.
Sorry, I just went past you.
Oh, no. I went right back in there.
In
I'm
the
leveling a Fury Warrior.
news,
It's a lot of fun. Great.
Blizzard's gone, like, you guys have seen Spaceballs, right?
Yep.
They've gone to
Nope.
plaid.
I thought you were
I don't know
going
what that
to
means.
tell us the size of their Schwartz. But...
Dude, okay, so everybody freaked out about, we had the Druid episode last week. Everybody freaked out. They made a real quick change to take away the talent Naturalist. They dropped it from 10% more DPS in all forms to 5%, which like nerfed like everybody else, right? And then they reverted it back within hours, right? I think Scotty J's video was like, oh, this didn't age well. About 30 minutes of relevance or something like that. I forget what you named it.
Yeah, I changed the title after about an hour.
Great. Well, didn't Feral end up getting nerfed in PvP unnecessarily, which they specifically said they wouldn't do?
Yeah,
Right,
nerfed in
there were all sorts of weird
PvP.
implications.
Bears got nerfed. Like, did it nerf Boomies? Did Boomies take that talent? I don't even know.
Well, they
it
inadvertently
was
nerfed Boomies the week before, right? With the Gift of the Wild change, or
Yeah.
is that?
That was all part of the same thing. Yeah, it was all part of the same thing. But then they put it back in. So actually, Feral got buffed twice, technically.
Yes,
Mhm.
second
Because
buff.
they buffed the fact that Omen of Clarity procs 100% of the time, but took away gift weaving, but then gave us gift weaving back, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it makes the opener so much easier because you're ordinarily, like when they first made the change, as you're running into the boss, you would Feral Fairy Fire. So you've got an Omen of Clarity proc and it puts Fairy Fire on cooldown. But now you can obviously gift it a while, so you'll gift weave to get that clear casting proc for your opener to still then have Fairy Fire ready. So you can get like a 5-point rip up without even having to use Tiger's Fury and stuff. It's bonkers. And then obviously when they reduced Naturalist from 10% to 5%, to compensate, they increased Bear Threat. But then when they put the Naturalist talent back up from 5% to 10%, they left the Bear Threat as it is. So Bear got buffed and Feral got buffed and a tiny little additional bonus that shouldn't have been there as well, you know. So it's bonkers how they can push it out like that. Like it's just, I don't know. It makes them look like a really inexperienced company, not a company that's been running the most successful MMO for the last 17 years.
Bizarre, right?
Ridiculous.
Like, you just put it in there, like, boom, it's in. And then you're like, oh, shit, that's infested. Boom, it's hotfix changed nerf. Boom, no, we changed the nerf back. Like, it's like...
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Like, I think...
This is coupled with the part where I don't think a lot of Ferals were asking for this, which is like, that's what they're saying after the fact, because they don't want to appear like they were begging for changes, so I don't know if it's true, but it felt like Ferals weren't really that vocal about getting a change, right? I didn't see it on Reddit. I didn't see it on forums that much, but maybe I missed it.
I heard a lot of people complain about bear weaving.
There's been a lot of it, yeah. I'm not saying like massively where it's like, been a massive issue, but a lot of druids felt are done by. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it could be part of the reason why I was slowly falling out of love with Feral, because it is a more complex rotation than most, and
really
you feel like you're putting a lot in and not getting a lot out. But with the change now, like I'm going to be unpopular, like I always am among certain people, because I speak my mind, and I don't like it. Like I think 100% is just ridiculous. As great as it feels, like when you're actually raiding as Feral, it's great.
Ruggs
and
was saying that
you
it
feel
just
like you're
didn't
pumping, but
Ruggs was saying it just didn't feel like great, like all of the time.
You should never be able to get clear casting on demand. Like that's just
it just
ridiculous.
seemed weird. Yeah, it's like, it just seems weird.
No, I'm not saying like that private servers do it better, but they do it better. You know, the fact that Fairy Fire having a chance to proc clear casting, so you're doing your normal rotation, and then when you've got nothing else to press, you'll Fairy Fire or your Barkskin or your Nature's Grasp or something like that to increase the actual amount of clear castings you get in a minute. But just being able to get one on demand every 6 seconds, it's bonkers. And it's going to get nerfed in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, hopefully they do a better job of it than they did the time before. But I was listening to I listen to Griffin Ghost podcast all the time. So shout out to those guys.
Me too.
Yeah, and they was having a really interesting conversation. I was in the car with the missus who was going to pick the dog up. And I was raging at both of them. I was like, listen to these idiots. Like I was saying to my missus when we were driving along, like certain changes, like Table Slam had a fantastic idea of making Cower relevant. And it's something I've never even thought about. It's just one of those abilities that you learn it and then it just don't even make it to your bar. It never leaves your spell book. So, giving that like a 20% chance or something, a 20% chance of proccing Omen. So it actually costs a little bit of energy. It's also got that added benefit that it will reduce your threat slightly. I'm not saying that's exactly how it should work, but take an ability that's not used and make it useful to fit that 5 to 8% damage buff that you want to actually give a class. But yeah, I'm not a fan of how it plays personally. As great as it feels to actually be doing really good damage, to the point where you can even feel like you're carrying in 10-mans and stuff like that. The damage is that good, but just a really awful playstyle.
Speaking of Grifton, he sent in a late voicemail last week meant for the last show, but I figured we'll play it on this show now.
Hey guys, Grifton here. I am a longtime listener, first-time caller, and I just want to know, do you think with the changes to ferals, you'll see them being stacked more and more in your average raid? Thanks. Take care, guys.
Okay, so before you answer this question, look at the current DPS of ferals last week. It's there at the very bottom in the notes.
It's high.
Yeah. It's really high. You know what it's really above? Combat Rogue.
Well, none of us are combat rogues except you, so we don't really care about that part.
What in the actual fudge?
Well, here's what you got to think about. Yeah. So if you look at that and look at what's above it, most importantly, an assassination rogue. Yeah. So are we looking at the second one? So the boss damage, is the one that we're focusing on here.
Yeah.
Because it's all that matters, really. So with assassination rogue, great. They're doing a bit more than feral. It's still not massive amounts more. But all they bring is tricks, which doesn't count towards passes. Yeah, all right, it's all right for threat, transfer and whatnot, but not really needed on the most part. Unholy DK, you mainly just bring them for their damage. Yes, they bring the 13% spell damage, but so do your boomies. And you're not just going to stack loads you could stack loads and loads of melee, but odds are you're going to have a boomie in the raid. The only nice thing about Unholy is being able to spread it to several targets. But anyway, forget about that. And then the next melee is a feral. So you got Assassination and Unholy who really bring nothing that you really need. And then you got ferals that all bring Innovate for your healers, combat reses, tranquilities. You could take 2 points into, increase that healing of tranquility even more. So you could essentially use it as a raid cooldown in each group. You could comfortably run 4 or 5 Feral Druids in a raid now, not lose hardly any DPS at all. I personally would put more ferals in a raid now.
It's
just because you can't even put a sort of a value on having that extra innovate for Algalon, having that extra combat res. Think of the amount of the room for error that you can have in your raid when you've got 8 combat reses in a group.
Yeah.
I have done raids with no combat res, and that first death is so brutal when you're on a fight like Algalon.
When you're on hard
bad,
modes,
and everybody's mad and toxic towards the person who died. And then you have 5 battle reses, and 6 people die. You get somebody to onks, and then you get 5 battle reses, and you're just back, and it doesn't even matter. And just especially with TOC coming up, just being able to battle res people for the challenge running stuff is going to be super, super good. It's amazing. It feels so good.
It's scary.
And doing a disc priest with Innervate. I mean, my goodness, I love it.
But that's my whole point. Is that good? It's good for Feral Druids, but
not for the other classes.
Yeah,
no,
it's a scary thought. It's a really scary thought.
Well, as I say, you if you was to just cover the important buffs, so like I've got Wrath Raid comp up. So if we was to say like you had a prop paladin, and then normally, I don't know about you guys, but normally your raid group consists of group 1 and 2 is normally tanks and melee, and then group 3 and 4 is normally casters, range, group 5 healers, something like that. So if you was to say you got 9 spots in the group for melee, you're going to have like 1 tank, and then obviously one of your melee would be like an off-spec tank when needs be. You could put in like 1 assassination rogue, 1 unholy DK, 1 enhancement shaman, or you could even drop the assassination, just put combat in there, whatever. Just cover the important buffs, get a ret, and then fill the rest of your melee slots up with feral DPS. I honestly would. There's like no reason not to.
Well, I think that's the argument as to why they shouldn't be at the top of the charts, right? Is because they do bring so much utility as well,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So should you be the top DPS if you also bring Innervate, Battle Res, and all of that, right?
Yeah, which is why I don't want Ret Pallies to be like in that same spot, because then stack them up.
Yeah. And then the real question is, what happens to all the people that get replaced? Do they just re-roll and keep playing? I don't think so. So I mean, it's a zero-sum game with the raid spots, right? People are not gonna just re-roll happily and do a whole another 80 and gear up just because they got replaced by a Feral Druid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've just made a comp that covers every single raid buff, and it's got 6 ferals in it.
Well, I'll join your raid. That sounds fun. You get 3 innervates. I'll die 3 times every fight and get battle res. That's great.
Well, that's with 2 boomies and a resto, so that would have 9 combat reses, 9 combat reses, 9 innovates. You're not gonna wipe on anything. It would have to be catastrophic to wipe on something.
Oh,
and your raid damage is going to be high. Think about the
really
AoE.
Poor mechanics that some people are going to have in that raid.
Think about the AoE as well. The burst AoE when ads and stuff like that spawn with 6 feral DPS in the group and 2 starfalls. Things would just melt.
Yeah.
But we like don't no one make raid comps like that, because like that's just going to get them to nerf feral even quicker if they're starting to get stacked.
Actually, Scotty just said to do that. So my raid tonight is going to have 9 druids in it. Thank you.
In a 10-man.
Yeah, in a 10-man. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, with 1 rep out.
Dude, I'm just saying, melee cleave in 10-man can be absolutely nuts. Like we had a group we thought was just a joke. We had 1 ranged, and we blew through every hard mode. Like just damage, just blew through. Like even Hodir. Like,
That's surprising.
I was like, wait a second. Okay, we just blew through Hodir faster than we've ever blown through Hodir ever. Like, the little thing from Thames that it's like a race. You're seeing the line and you're seeing the boss health. We had there was a third of that line left, or maybe even almost half. Like it was just like. Melee cleave can be mean as hell. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, back in GBC Karazhan days, running melee cleave was pretty awesome in 10-man.
We ran a 10-man Ulduar last week where we 0 healed quite a few of the bosses. What 1 tank, 9 DPS.
Nice.
We literally one tank, 1 healed every single boss. But then like Colligan, Aurea, Hodir, we used Razor Scale. We used 0 healers, just 1 tank, 9 DPS. And we're talking like serious speed kills. They're dying in like 30 seconds, so it don't really matter.
Yeah, it's just nuts. All right, well, there was one thing I did want to bring up, because you kind of brought it up, and we haven't really talked about it, not a lot of people are talking about it, but a lot of people are talking about it. So the dodge change, dude, has actually been a pain in the ass. It has buffed bears because they were using Agi mostly for dodge rating. It's really shit on DK tanks, and it's hurt warriors quite a bit. I mean, it's hurt every tank, at least on Algalon kills. But we didn't notice it much in our weekday raid, but I think that's because we have so much gear. In our weekend raid, that first raid after the change, it was noticeably different. And all of a sudden I was like, we might need 5 heals instead of 4 heals now. I don't know.
I'm a Pele tank and I died tanking Freya.
Just tanking Freya
for 20k. over and over and over and over again. I was like, what is happening?
Anecdotally, healing warriors just feels awful on Algalon. Like they are so much squishier than other. It just does not. Maybe I know speedrunners love warriors, but it does not feel good to heal them.
Yeah, no,
They
I
might be
agree.
doing something wrong.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, because like
That's definitely true.
but I am taking significantly more damage now. Like
I am definitely doing something wrong when I heal because the tanks are just getting shredded and it feels terrible. I'm gonna have to go back and look at like Warcraft logs and stuff and see like what are healers doing on these fights because something feels off when I heal.
well, warrior's just a lot harder to play.
On your priest.
I'm having a lot of problems on every healer. Like I don't feel like I'm optimally keeping people up.
See,
Yeah, I mean the priest is hard on
It is.
Algalon, and
Really.
the challenge with Algalon with the priest is that your role when you're in a 10-man is so much different than your role when you're in a 25-man,
Yes.
right? Because when you're in a 10-man and you're one of two healers, you have to heal the tank, and you're not the greatest tank healer, right?
It's so bad, and you just feel like when the tank dies, it's your fault. But it's like then everybody else needs raid healing too. It's just I don't know. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I shield and penance the tank, try to proc
Yeah.
the armor buff, and then in between my heals, I'm shielding the other DPS, and then going back, and when my penance is back up, I penance. But in 25-man, it's much easier. I just shield the
Yeah.
entire raid. Like,
But so Bob though, you've been tanking and getting shredded too.
yeah, well, it's been worse. Like I felt like a god before. Like if
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like I was like, I don't know, paladin tanks. Everybody says they're great, but I don't like. I seem to like have more threat single target. Like I struggle on big, huge packs, but you know, like don't
also,
really have a
he
whole
is
lot.
with me as the off tank, so take that with
That's
a grain of salt.
that's a tanking dream team.
But
I think you're just seeing a lot more streaks of no mitigation. I think that's the thing. Like I noticed it when was I doing Algalon? Oh, last night. Our DK tank, stacked. This is in the NA guild. He's absolutely stacked. Great tank. Like knows what he's doing. But he got like phase punch, main hand, offhand, main hand, offhand. It was about 7 attacks in a row, not a single miss. No dodges, no parries,
Right.
nothing. And I think where you add that bloated dodge chance, odds are if that was like 3 weeks ago, 1 or 2 of those at least would have been dodged,
Yeah.
which makes a big difference. But no, I must admit, I've not. Outside of those like odd occasions where it is like just the odd pull where a tank gets absolutely destroyed. I've not noticed it myself massively.
I've noticed it the most on trash. Like I'm kind of a weirdo, and I like to tank everything. Like and don't give a lot to the off tank. And I've found that there are pulls that I should not be taking, like all by myself now. Like it's really been the biggest for me on trash. Also, rage generation's a little different now. But Jerome, you were talking about like Pally tanks. It's hard to like kind of tell because they have a set rotation. Like whereas warriors and DKs are kind of living on different cooldowns and like knowing when to hit shield block. Because you only get it once every 40 seconds. Like. You shouldn't be just hitting that on cooldown. Like you should, use it for specific reasons. Sometimes it might just be to like re-up rage, because like usually shield block will get you full rage, but like it might be you're using it in tandem with every raid cooldown you get, like pain sup, etc. Like so, there's just a lot more knowledge needed to be successful, in my opinion, as a warrior or a DK tank.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know much about
people
Bear.
Think of paladins as being. There's a TOC vendor for and it's a paladin named Easy Mode. So that's what Blizzard used to think about paladins back in the day for their emblem vendors. So I'm just saying, it's just it is hard in defenders, pretty nice. I mean, you get to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, it's just so huge. And then having raid sack and I mean, they're definitely the best tank.
Thought into it. They are. I mean, you'll still see prop paladins just doing it wrong. You know, as in either from a threat like standpoint, as in not doing the proper rotation, not using defensives when they should be using them. But quite honestly, it's like whack-a-mole with a prop paladin. You're using the abilities as they come off cooldown, but a good paladin will be like every face punch. You'll have covered with hand to salve, divine protection, trinkets. Calling for bubble sack. You should be able. You've got a lot of control as a prop paladin, and then you have always got Ardent Defender to fall back on. But I tank a lot. Like I heal a little bit more than I tank, but I went in on my new NA Paladin for a 10-man hard mode that the raid leader of the NA guild was extremely. I could tell by talking to him that he was very reluctant about me going. I'm freshly dinged in like 4.2k gear score. When I say freshly dinged and then got crafted belt and boots, mate, stuff like that. So I was like 4.2k, and I was like, fine, I'll just solo tank everything. It's like, what about Algalon? I was like, yeah, I'll solo tank Algalon. Like, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Going in 4.2k. And we did, done it. I was taking a lot of damage, and I got a few upgrades along the way, obviously. So I think by the time I was tanking Algalon, it was like 4.5k. But yeah, with good use of cooldowns, it's super comfortable as a prop paladin. Whereas I despise tanking as a feral druid.
See though, but Scotty,
I don't even want to do it.
You're an absolute legend.
Chad, mate.
Did I do that right? I can't be bothered. I'm an absolute legend. No, I screwed it up. I screwed it up.
A paladin from the auction house. I mean, you can get a bunch of 232 stuff. Prop paladins can really get almost everything from the auction house. You can get a really good shield. It's actually pretty awesome if you're trying to catch up a prot, because it's like everything's on the auction house. I was just looking at it last night buying stuff. It's like if you have like 15,000 gold, you could just get a full set of tank gear for a prop paladin that would like let you take Algalon day one, pretty much.
Oh, it's even easier if you want to go Holy Paladin, because you can literally get all the cloth pieces, leather pieces. You can. Yeah, you literally don't even need to worry about pre-raid gearing. That's why I bought a pair of cloth
boots for my paladin tank. Yeah, I'm all set.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because there's been it's nice being able to see it from like different raid perspectives, because like I have said, our raid that's like. Most of the people are right around 5k gear score. Like we didn't really even notice. But then the raid that's like, most of the people are 4,600 gear score. Like that raid definitely was different. Like it was like, oh shit. That raid's actually, we're going to be doing that tonight here in an hour and 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Do you use the JC dodge trinket?
No.
I was just wondering if you noticed a difference with that, because I did notice a big difference with that. Where like you could almost pop that and it felt like a proper defensive cooldown. Now it feels like it does nothing.
I don't use that because I'm a miner and a engineer. I know I can't be bothered to work up jewel crafting on another
tune.
Don't
feel guilty about that. You can go mine titanium ore or something. You're good. You're set up for the future.
But I do use the dodge trinket from, I forget, it's either the one from Yogg. One of them's parry, one of them's dodge. The two BIS trinkets, I have them both. The one for parry and the one for dodge. Yeah, the one for dodge I used to use in tandem as, with like raid sack, if like we were using a raid sack for like my boss cooldown, and it worked great. And now it's like I just wouldn't even take damage whenever I pop that trinket, like at all. And so it's definitely not as good as it was.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same thing. I think it's actually more dodge rating, but it felt like I was invincible with that. I don't know. I think it hurts the lower people who are already struggling, and that's the part that's the bummer. Like if they're looking at high-end guilds, like I don't think they missed a beat.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely true. And the weaker groups, I can't tell you if it's making it harder, but it feels a little bit harder as well from my end.
So it's kind of a bummer, that change. But I mean, if they hadn't changed it and we got wind of it, we would just all be building dodge sets, and like 100% mitigation with great stats to boot, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I I think that's it for the Druid talk. Unless anybody else has anything else they want to add in. We talked about a lot last week.
I did want to bring up the fact that they said they're not buffing Druids again, which somehow accidentally closes the door on buffing Resto Druids, which is like, I know it's technically how it was back in the original game, but we're still waiting for Wild Growth to not just go straight for pets every time you cast it. So the fact that they accidentally closed the door on our very necessary Wild Growth buff is a little frustrating to me. So just wanted to bring that up. They probably didn't know what they were doing when they wrote it, but yet again, it's another thing they're going to have to backtrack on when they buff Resto Druids. So.
Yeah. The other thing just on Druids as well is the fact that, with, look at the damage that they're doing now, and melee in Wrath, like especially going into ICC, scales so well, with armor pen. So once you're hard armor pen capped, like if everything stays the same,
wait,
just
you're
watch
telling me
what they're going to be doing in ICC. Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a lot better though. It's not even close.
And balanced Druids, they've fallen. They have fallen from grace hardcore. Yeah, like they're down there, TLC, so. Like beast. Like they're barely better than Beast, Mastery Hunter, and Fury Warriors. Like that's.
Don't say that. Classic goes what
I know. Classic Go. I'm so sorry.
There's a lot of Druids in here. You can just lie if you want to.
Boomies are on top. Don't believe it.
They're so fun, and they have battle res. Battle res is great.
Yeah, that's worth 2k DPS straight away. They're still bis.
Yeah, it's just it's just sad. It's just sad. Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of pet classes are very happy that their pets get healed once a raid. So
it is really nice. Yeah, the hunters seem to like me a lot.
Hunters and demo warlocks. All right. Well, I think that does it. Let's move into
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right. So we're going to talk about Phase 3. Let's just get it started with new gems, new shinies, and multiple ways to get it. Who wants to take it away? Jerome?
So Scotty J is the epic gem expert.
Go on, you crack on. I'm just going to put the kettle on. I need a coffee.
All right, he's putting the kettle on. So epic gems are finally coming in Phase 3. It's really exciting. If you've been fishing, then this is not exciting for you because you already have some storm jewels, which in the current phase are unique equipped, right? So you can only have one. But if you know what those are, then you know the stats you're going to be getting. But epic gems are really exciting because they're going to give people something new to spend all their currency on.
I've got to stop you, Jerome. I'm sorry. Did it not just look like Scotty J was about to take a whiz on stream?
I'm sure that's what he was doing, but I'm not.
I was like, oh God, he forgot to shut the door.
No.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Jerome. I'm so sorry.
Little mini kitchen going on out there,
Yeah, I was talking epic gems. I didn't see all that happening.
I'm so sorry. All right, go ahead, Jerome. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
you're getting excited. Look how excited he is. My God.
We get a little hot bothered.
He was like, please turn around. Please turn around.
I'm going to get banned from Twitch, but fuck it.
Be a good clip at least.
Oh man! All right, sorry, Jerome. Continue.
Coming in Phase 3, a little bit better stats across the board. Tons and tons of new recipes that people are going to have to unlock, which may be really the bulk of where people are going to spend their time and energy, right? Because you got to get 4 jewel crafting tokens for every single recipe. So that's a lot. There's a lot of recipes, like 70 plus. So that's kind of the thing. There's all these new cuts. So every gem gets a new cut. And there's 6 new colors. So it's going to be, everybody's going to have to replace all their gear, their gems and their gear for PvP, PvE, everything. So that's going to be a big thing in Phase 3. Yep. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but if you haven't invested in that titanium ore, I do have a lot. I am willing to sell it, friends and family discount. So I do have a lot of ore for you. If you're interested in investing, come right to me. I've got the bulk discounts.
All right, well, here, let's start with that. So one of the ways is to get gems is prospecting titanium ore. I also have 100 or 200 stacks on alts, just sitting there waiting. So I've been investing in that soon, but I'm a little worried. Are we at all worried that the ID of new titanium after when phase 3 hits will be different than the ID of old titanium?
No, I've had this discussion. It's not possible.
Are you sure it's not possible? Because every time someone brings it up, I'm really concerned.
I know. I get a little like shaky in my boots.
I kind of just wish people wouldn't ask the question. Really.
So they would actually have to add a completely different ore for it to be physically possible. Because how would you, as a buyer, go into the auction house to buy titanium ore? How would you know what's old ore and what's new ore? I've had this discussion with loads of people. I said the same thing in a video. And then I actually ended up jumping on my Discord talking to just random viewers from YouTube. It was actually a lot of fun. And we were literally just talking about all the reasons why it could work, why it couldn't work. And the main one is the fact that unless it was literally called titanium or phase 3 and titanium or phase 1, there's no way you would know what you're buying off the auction house.
There's people that think they would do that though, because it just, for whatever reason, people want that to be the case. I don't know why. I guess they don't have any titanium ore, but they keep bringing it up. I mean, and they really think it's going to happen. So
you make a really good point.
A lot of work.
If it would be a nightmare if it was that way, because you would not know. Like, it would be not only, our RNG of prospecting, but it'd be RNG of buying it from the auction house.
Yeah, exactly.
Go brings up a good point. Blizzard did just change Feral Druids drastically, and it's not out of the. I don't think it's our place to say it couldn't happen, because they have been doing a lot of stuff lately.
It could happen, it absolutely could happen, but it wouldn't be able to happen in the way that people are thinking it would.
Yes,
you're not just going to log on and try and prospect your titanium and it won't work. They'd have to add something. But there's no reason to. Part of the whole thing with Classic is that it's already all known.
Yeah.
Why, the fact that you can prepare for future phases, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the game that we're playing. We was preparing for phase 2 when we was in phase 1 of vanilla in 2019. When you know what's coming, you can. It's public knowledge. Everyone can go and find out what's coming in phase 3. You haven't got to wait for it to launch.
Well, if you go on Scotty J's channel, you can learn all about epic gems. In fact, with his comprehensive guide.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't call it comprehensive, but I think I spoke about it once or twice over the last 2 years.
So there's you are the gem man for sure. That's where I learned about the Serenite Shuffle, was on your channel, and I don't know if you invented that term or if it's just been around.
No, it's old. That was original RAF.
Yeah,
that was when the Serenite Shuffle came about. Yeah.
It's so catchy. It just sounds fantastic.
Yeah, no, I can't take credit for that. Again, it's already all of that stuff. Everything, it's already known. Oh, you just got a lot of subs going on there.
Shout out to Squilly.
Squilly, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you so much.
Damn.
He carries the GDKPs. I mean, he's a baller.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
He's one of those guys with like 5 mages that are all bisque geared.
10 more. Woo! Having a party over here. Oh, all right.
So we got the prospecting, right?
Yep.
But then there's transmutation, which I kind of want to get into that too, because I was on, very legitimate vanilla, experience, testing out the ores and such. And it was a 20-hour cooldown for one transmute, right? For any color of gem. So just one per 20 hours. Do you think that's how it's going to be? Because that makes transmuting completely pointless. Like, there's no point.
Yeah, that's how it'll be. Yeah, that's how it'll be. Obviously, you've got a chance of proccing if you're a transmute master, but that's how it is and how it should be.
You could do one of each gem, though, right?
No, only one.
Only one.
Gem.
Interesting.
One gem. And
that's why there's people who have got. Come on,
you gotta do 5 different transmutes, I believe, to unlock red. So you won't even be able to do red for 5 days, like that, or 500 hours. Like, it just
but there will be
so
people with like 10 transmute masters, 15 transmute masters. There'll be people pumping out 10, 15 gems a day. And I know some of those, that have been preparing and getting that done. The thing is, for me, is what's ruined that slightly is the sheer amount of emblems we're all sat on. Because they made it so easy to get emblems. The the gems are they'll be expensive on day one, and then I don't know, by about day 6, they're not going to be much different to what the blue gems are now.
So that's where
in
I'm
my opinion.
concerned that we may have overhyped epic gems, because not only can you get them from prospecting and from transmutation, but also from emblems. Your emblems of heroism. When any emblem you have right now can be downgraded to heroism very easily at an NPC. And then you can also get them purely for honor too. So I mean, there is a possibility everybody on average has like 20 gems basically saved up already when they go to the vendor.
If you honor cap,
full gear set.
that is 7 gems. And then on top of that, if you save all of your little things you could trade in for honor, like you could have even more, you know.
You could have the 5 commendations of bravery. You could have a bunch of wintergrass commendations as well. And then you have all your other characters too, right? You could have all these alts. And honor is so easy to get. So that's a big way people are going to get it. And then just showing up to your Ulduar, you're just getting emblems that you may not even be spending right now. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sitting at I've got like 200 some emblems on one of the guys. Like,
well, you go to do Violet Hold every day too. So you're just basically getting epic gems every time you run Violet Hold.
True. And
how many emblems is it to get a gem?
So
10.
the primary colors are 20.
And 20.
And then the mixed colors, which is that tertiary? I don't know what mixed colors means in like painting terms, but when you have
non-primary,
non-primary colors are 10.
Okay,
which is nothing. You know, I think honor's going to be the easiest way to get them. Actually,
now,
I mean, how much honor do you get for a Wintergrass win? It's been a while since I've done one.
Something like that.
Quite a bit.
10,000. Yeah. That's
a gem every couple of hours, basically, or every few hours.
Well, and I mean, Alterac Valley, even outside of AV weekend, I think is a good 5K every 15 minutes. So 2 gems an hour doing that, you know.
The one nice thing, though, is that you're basically, at this point in the game, you're getting paid for anything you're doing, which is sort of how it is now since you can't get the blue gems. But any activity you do in the game, you're going to make some gold from it, which is kind of how it I guess that's how it transitions into Cataclysm as well. But just the idea of being rewarded for your time is kind of cool.
Now, the question I do have is, we know for a fact titanium prospecting and transmutation is still going to be in the game. And you could also still get the storm jewels from the fishing daily. But are we positive that the honor and emblem gems will be in start of phase 3, because the blue gems were not in start of phase 2?
Well, they was in the start of TOC in original Wrath, so they should be. Yeah, it should just be part of the patch. When TOC comes out, the epic gems come out. It weren't a catch-up mechanic.
But that being said, knowing New Blizzard, right? Why don't they delay it so that us prospectors can make more gold arbitrarely for no reason?
I'm kind of for that.
They don't delay it. Honestly, no, but that'll be their answer. They'll be like, well, we're not adding a different titanium ore, so people who stocked up are going to have loads, but you can get them from honor, you can get them from emblems, you can get. That'll be their selling point of not making any changes to it. I don't see any reason even to delay like any way to acquire epic gems. I just don't see the point.
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, and also shout out to It's Pummel for the huge raid. We're just having a fun time over here. Thank you, sir.
You're the real epic gem of today's stream.
So yeah, like I would not mind them giving it a month before they put the honor and the emblem part in, because it would be just kind of nice, you know, just to like have it be a little expensive to start. But I mean, at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't like that. I'm not really sure.
My real concern is not to get ahead of ourselves, but with TOC Heroic, you won't be able to do it until the second week. Are the gems even going to be that valuable? Because are you really going to replace all your current gear with new epic gems?
Yes.
Or are you just going to wait?
Yes.
Okay, you will? Okay.
on three characters.
On every character, yep. Same.
All right. Problem solved then. All right. They should be pretty expensive.
But I waste money. I would be rich if I was a little bit more frugal.
I'm rich because I'm lazy. You know,
I'm rich because I keep doing GDKPs and the gold just keeps going up.
I've only done one GDKP.
They're nice. They're very nice.
Heard.
Well, I'm just curious if they'll like hold off on that. So you're saying to buy blue gems wasn't at the start of Ulduar in the originally?
That's a great
it wasn't
question.
in phase 1. It wasn't in it weren't out in when Nax launched. I'd need to look at exactly what patch it was added, but yeah, it was something that came a bit later. But with TOC, it's like I just think it's a bit different in the fact that there's going to be so much requirement to be able to get all of the recipes. You know, for people to get all the recipes, like they're gate kept enough behind the sheer amount of tokens, like Dalaran dual crafting tokens that are going to be needed. The fact that you can actually get the uncut gems pretty easily, you know, is whatever. And you've also got to remember that I was actually on Engadget. I always look at Engadget, which is like
I did some great stuff
really popular. Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at the original TOC PTR discussion from Engadget. And stocking up on titanium ore happened back in original RAF. Because everyone knew on the PTR that you could prospect titanium, so everyone went out mining it, and it was flooded. You know, everyone had thousands of them, ready for when TOC launched. So it's no different now. I don't. It's just I don't see the point of changing it. It is my honest answer. They're epic gems. They're just something that don't really matter. Once you've regemmed all your gear, it's just business as usual, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I do think you make a great point that getting the recipes and actually cutting them will be where most of the profit is and the expense. Because right now you can only get the tokens from either doing the jewel crafting daily or from the damaged necklaces for 1 per necklace. And the necklaces are like 300 gold. So there is a new way in the next phase. And when you prospect a titanium ore, there's a chance. I think it's something like, I don't want to get the wrong percentage. On the 3.35 I was looking at, it was like 15% per ore. So you'll get a titanium powder, and the powders, 10 of the powders can be turned in for a token. And so you might actually see a lot of profit being made just from prospecting and then selling the powder the first couple days, because there may be a bigger demand for getting the recipes than there is for the actual gems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
But eventually, hopefully, those powders will be pretty cheap and it'll be easy to get the recipes.
Yeah, it's going to be the. I'm quite shocked, actually, when you mentioned damaged necklaces then. I'm shocked at how well they've kept their price up until this point.
I think it comes back to the fact that most people raid log and they don't go out and farm these necklaces. And so when they realize they need the recipes, they kind of panic.
What are the necklaces? I don't even know what
so
they
you
are.
can
give
get
you
them
one token
randomly in the world. I think kind of mostly in the troll areas. I don't want to get that wrong, but I flip them a lot because they have no deposit costs. So you can just buy them and then sell them again. And they just a quest that you go to the jewel crafting guy and you turn it in, and then you get 1 token. So there you can buy 100 of them and have 100 tokens right now, but it would cost you like 30,000 gold.
Okay, you're muted, Bob.
I actually didn't know about those. How have I not heard of this?
I use them all the time.
But if you'd like to buy mine, I have a lot of them. So yes, I do come on these podcasts to just hawk my investments. So yes.
Huh, interesting.
Every time I level a character, the first thing I do is go and buy 1 damage necklace, go and do the daily quest, hand in the damage necklace as well. So I got 2 tokens to get my epic recipe straight away, then buy 3 Dragon's Eye off the auction house. Every single character buys a damage necklace.
That could go in a catch-up video. Wow, that's some good information. I wasn't doing that. Wow.
Yeah, I've been actually.
I don't want to wait 2 days.
Yeah,
I've been pissed because like I screwed up and forgot to keep doing my daily, like for jewel crafting. Like I just got lazy. I didn't even think about the fact I need to buy a bunch of recipes. So like, and I even do it easy. Like if I don't have one of the pieces in the bank, like I take 6 of each of the gem you need to combine it. I go out. Yeah, and I make 6 of the quest items, stick it back in my bag, turn 1 in, and then I have 5 different times that I could just log in and do it. So I've had all this stuff in my bank and just wasn't doing it. Like I'm so upset with myself now because I'm just like, I missed a good like 40 days. I could have had 40 tokens. That would have been 10 recipes. And literally most of the time it just involves me walking to the bank and walking back.
Well, see, this is why you just do what I did, and you just keep them in your bag, and people just comment like, "Why is your bag like completely full of junk?" And it's great. I also have lumber in there too.
For what?
Just rent. You can pre-farm the lumber quest. It's just like 21 gold a day. It's not. It doesn't give you anything else. It's not worth it unless you want gold.
You should buy Epic Flying. How about that?
I should buy Epic Flying. You're right. You know what? I've learned something today.
Oh god.
When you can get summoned, why bother?
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
Well, and okay, so another thing that's coming that's pretty big, and you guys, lots of you probably already have the recipe, but it requires epic gems to create Jeeves.
Oh yeah.
The repair bot that keeps on giving. Yep. And it also is a bank for anybody who has 450 engineering, so basically 95% of the game. It's a bank too. So it's a pretty sweet deal. One thing I would recommend you do.
I also wanted to mention it's also a toaster oven. So yeah.
It's also a toaster oven.
And a bread maker.
One thing you should do though, guys, it requires 10 and 3. 10 of one of the repair bots and 3 of the other repair bots. Like one from, I don't remember if the TBC one, you need more of them, or if it's the classic one. But if you wait
10 of the TBC ones, yeah.
If you wait and buy those day of patch, you're gonna pay a fortune. In fact, I've got like 25 of each in the bank, like just ready to sell day one, because you guys are not gonna you're not gonna have your bots. And then my 2 characters that are engineering have the bots in the bank ready to make Jeeves. So if you haven't done that yet, you should probably either buy them or craft them yourself prior, because they're going to cost hundreds of gold day one. I really think, and I don't think a lot of people are storing them.
The classic ones are going to be insanely expensive, and the TBC ones, and they're kind of hard to get too. And then on top of that, you could theoretically have all the ingredients right now except the King's Amber. So you could have the recipe, you could have all the repair bots, but the King's Amber is like the bottleneck here that everybody's waiting on.
That's the first thing I'm going to do. Literally, when Phase 3 launches, I'll be going straight to the honor vendor, buying 2 King's Ambers, making Jeeves. As a hybrid class, having access to the bank all the time, so you don't have to carry your gear with you. Because, like you said, everyone's engineering.
Yeah.
So there'll be no reason to carry your tanking gear and your healing gear all the time, because it's like, oh, someone pop a Jeeves.
Yes, and as somebody now playing, I play Resto Druid, I play Boomkin, and I'm going to be playing Feral because Feral's overpowered. So having 3 gear sets on a Druid is just a full-on nightmare.
Overpowered? What are you talking about?
I'm joining the bandwagon.
So what is the cooldown? 15 minutes on Jeeves?
I think it's 4 hours.
Is it 4 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, just like, okay.
Maybe it's an hour.
It's an hour.
It's an hour.
An
okay,
hour.
Yeah.
If it's an hour, then I mean, everybody's going to have them.
That's the 4 hour one. Yeah.
Yeah. And for anybody that doesn't know how to get that recipe, you can get it right now. Just have to kill a mechanical mob, I think just only in Storm Peaks. I mean, the best place, Scotty J showed it in a video.
The librarian place in Storm Peaks is the best. I got that from a
Scotty J video, I think. Or he must have mentioned it at some point.
You can get it. You can get it from Ulduar as well.
Really?
Yeah, XT seems to drop it quite a bit. If you mine XT or engineer, I don't know what it's called. Take apart, whatever it's called. But yeah, it's funny because my warrior got it wall before level 80, and I had to go farm multiple times on my rogue when I was bored to finally get it to drop. So.
I have a hilarious thread on the WoW forums of a guy demanding that they put in King's Amber because he thinks it's like a bug that he could get the recipe, and he was really furious that he could get this recipe but couldn't make it, and he was like, they have to change it right now. It's just a great thread of this guy being like losing his mind over not being able to make Jeeves.
You also, from those same guys, get the recipe for the scrap bot, which is the little crappy repair bot that I use constantly.
I invested in scrap bots, and I think it was a mistake because I think most people still think of like the classic and TBC ones as like, those are the ones that are going to be more expensive for Jeeves, I think. And the scrap bot, everybody knows scrap bots, and they're too easy to make, I think.
I think in a world of repair mounts and like even Ulduar, you can repair at the entrance. Like it's all just very convenient now. Like repair bots are still used. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're great to have, but
I drop them constantly in raid, and not just for repairs, because most of the time I get a tell from somebody, hey, can you drop a bot? I forgot to buy this regent.
Yes.
And I drop a bot so they can buy the regent, and then everybody just repairs too, while it's up. So it's
my favorite lately has been
it's always me yelling at you from across the room saying, Bob, I didn't buy my candles. Can you drop a repair bot?
It's not
even
just
better,
you.
though, Mel. Your mid-Algalon fight, your gear breaks, you ask for a bot, somebody puts it down, you use it. It's like a really good team building exercise,
Yeah, right?
I definitely have done that recently.
The only time I do that mid-fight is when I go to DI someone and realise I've got no symbols of divinity. So I have to pop a scrap bot. Yeah, I've popped a scrap bot, bought reagents, and then DI'd someone on a white.
that's fantastic.
That's awesome. All right, well, okay, so let's move on to... actually, I'm going to skip real quick to the new 5-man dungeon. I don't remember doing this dungeon. I really don't. Like, what's it entail? Is the loot good? Like, is it worth it? Like,
memorably unmemorable.
Memorably unmemorable. I believe it's 219 gear. So on the hardest, the heroic mode. And I could be wrong about this. If you also remember, I went in there on retail a couple weeks ago. It was very jousting oriented, at least for some portion of it. I could be incorrect.
I remember something about jousting. Yeah,
it's a very jousting heavy dungeon.
Yeah, you have to kill like the 3 leaders with their 3 adds on the mounts, and then it goes into the actual boss fight where you're fighting them like normally, and people forget to re-equip their proper weapon, and then you have problems. Yeah, always happens. But no, gear wise, there's a few decent bits, but I personally think like this is something again where we like need news, because 200 and 219 eye level from a brand new dungeon, like 200 for normal, 219 heroic, it's too low.
Yeah,
it's
you
meant
want
to
this to feel more like Magister's Terrace, where you have like a reason to do it, and I don't feel like a lot of people are going to be doing it unless you want the trinkets, like getting like a really good trinket for a tank or something.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on whether they would actually change the item level or not, but the decent trinkets are normal, like Banner of Victory, which is the armor pen trinket, for example, what like a Feral would want or would have wanted, but with it only being 200 eye level, that I don't know. It's underwhelming.
252 gear that we're getting now and this 200 item level gear from this dungeon just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, the thing is, when you can go in and do Heroic Plus, which, is going to be dropping... Well, you can get 226 gear in Heroic Plus.
Right.
No, not 226, sorry. You get 213. And what's the 10-man? The last boss that can drop, like, EOE stuff. Not 226, what is it?
I think it's 213.
No, it's 213.
Yeah.
213, 200 and 213. So you're already pretty much getting that from all the other Heroics. So it's like 6 extra item level. Or you can go to Nax 10. Yeah, it's Nax 10 I was getting at, where you can get 226 now, can't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems too low. Like, it's much easier to go in and do a Nax 10 than it probably is to go and do TOC 5-man,
That's another question, though. We getting a Heroic Plus?
See, we have to, right?
Are we getting Defense Protocol
question.
Beta?
There's so many questions related to that, right? Are we going to be getting Ulduar gear from the 10-man? Will it drop the 25-man gear in the next version?
And will it drop fragments?
That's the question for Mr. Valenier over here. Scotty J would say definitely shouldn't. Yeah, because he has a Valenier. But doesn't have one.
10-man Ulduar shouldn't drop it. No, I've said it before I even knew I was getting Valenier. I don't think they should go any further with Heroic Plus, in my opinion. Like, it's a nice catch up. It's a nice way to get reasonable enough gear to be able to get straight in to like TOC 10-man normal. You could literally go from doing 5-man Heroic Plus the way it is now and get your Nax 10 gear and then go into TOC 10-man normal and then start getting gear from there. I don't see the point of now just forcing like Ulduar gear into 5-mans. It just it takes away any need to go back, because at the end of the day, at the moment, people would still go back and do 10-man, like Ulduar, to go and try and get Runestone, The wand, you got to remember the wand from Freya is like even bit in phase 3.
It's just for my priest, I believe.
Well, exactly. So there's still reason to go back to Ulduar 10 by ruining that and just like putting it in 5-man heroic plus. I don't know. I think it would be stupid. It was all right. I'm not going to say great. It was all right what they done now because it's a nice bridge to be able to get into raids, like because you could do heroic plus and then go straight into Ulduar 10. But I don't know. I still think it was largely unnecessary, even in the first place. But
it'd be really weird to be able to get like hard mode, because like most likely they wouldn't put hard mode loot from Ulduar 10 into the heroic plus, right?
Yeah, it just have to be like the normal mode 10 man, right?
What they would probably do is then no normal gear would drop from Ulduar 10, only Ulduar 10 hard mode gear would drop.
Or just 25. See, they just give you 20 from, if you do Ulduar 10 man, you get 25 gear. And they just pretend like just what they did with the Nax patch. I mean the in phase 2.
Yeah, but then for the hard modes you'd still get 10-man hard mode gear, right? I think.
But can we remember what Blizzard actually said? But it's the thing, let's remember what Blizzard said, and they wanted Ulduar to be relevant content in phase 3. So that means 25-man should be relevant, so 25-man should be run. Like, yes. I just don't think they should do anything. Honestly,
I think you're right.
Maybe phase 4. Like when ICC comes out, then let's look at harder heroic plus where you can now get Ulduar gear, because now that's going to be a nice way to bridge the gap between doing 5-man content and being able to jump straight into ICC 10 like normal. But I think phase 3 would be a stupid time to start adding more gear to 5-mans, in my opinion. What
do you think about?
What if TOC is considered to be too weak content wise? Blizzard has clearly been concerned about that. Do you think that maybe that's where they're like, we have to add something else in here to keep people playing?
I think honestly, you just nerf Ulduar hard modes when TOC comes out, and everybody just gets to take a run. Like all those guilds that haven't been able to kill Algalon get a shot now. And it's the next phase, so it's not going to bother me too much, right?
And then so you're running TOC heroics and you're also running Ulduar at the same time.
But Ulduar is like a lot less punishing at that point. And like you can do it with like most GDKPs, most SR runs. I don't see a real problem with that, but I know Scotty J has been against nerfing the hard modes ever at some point or another. I don't know if that's still the way you feel.
Oh, no, like nerf it when ICC comes out if you want. But before then I don't think it should be nerfed.
Oh, so you think ICC?
Also,
okay.
Like what I would do if I was Blizzard is release talk. Like you said, it is like content wise, especially with them doing that ridiculous change where you can only do it once. You can only do 10 normal or 10 heroic and 25 normal or heroic. You can't do all 4 resets, which they should have just left
problematic
as it was.
Change the more I research.
that should have been left as it was. But what they should do is actually massively tune Onyxia. Like break it, make it ridiculously hard. Like as in scale everything so it's almost not impossible to kill, but how hard Algalon was on 25-man week 1. Have it that difficult, so it's going to take multiple weeks to be able to kill Onyxia. So it feels like there is something challenging outside of like just doing talk. Because at the end of the day, Onyxia is just a bonus raid anyway. Like technically, they don't even need to add it. It was an anniversary event, so whatever. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. But we know it is going to be there. So have some fun with it. That's where they could actually really implement some big changes. And I don't think that many people would kick off about it. It's like, make that raid like solid.
I think
nerf it eventually, but
Yeah.
Well,
it adds some new loot to it because not to get ahead of us, but I mean the Onyxia loot's not mind-blowingly great the way it is right now.
No, it's crap. Yeah.
It's actually, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing, but I mean, 10-man Ani drops I level 232, and 25-man drops 245.
Yeah, so
it's normal top
phase almost.
I mean, that's not bad. I just noticed that, like, I just noticed that they're all like the actual. I could get the Blood Fang hood again.
Yeah, it's a nostalgia. Like they're just pumping it right into your veins. They're like, we're just gonna bring back all your favorite named items.
Well, and
Like,
then
my
the
hunter can
mount is also 310.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it might be considered maybe like the second or third best mount in Wrath. Like it's definitely a really, really attractive mount to people.
Okay, well, yeah. So Adi, is there anything different? Like,
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
is it?
I
Yeah.
haven't gone back and done Ani since obviously, but I
You
know
can
that a lot of the
solo
loot
it now, Jerome. Just heads
Okay.
up. As a boomy, you could.
You haven't seen my boomkin lately, but I like your you respect. Okay, that's nice.
Well,
Thank you.
I duoed it with a rogue, and classic goes like 2,800 gear score boomy. So,
Wow, throwing him under the bus, huh?
well, it was when he first hit 80.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a really undergeared boomy on my server just to play with me.
Oh yeah.
I keep trying to get him in runs, but he just won't come. He's too busy with Scotty J and Table Slam. So sad.
I'd be busy with them too. They're great.
Oh
And
yeah.
mostly table slam though, of course.
I am here, mate. Like,
Oh crap!
but no, Phase 3 is going to be fairly lackluster unless they do surprise us with some big changes. But like, quite honestly, I just hope it's a really short phase. You know, like and when I say
Yeah.
short, I mean 6 to 8 weeks.
A
And then let's just
sweet
move into ICC.
catch-up phase. You get all your new alts rolling. I'm gonna get a Fury
Yep.
Warrior going on that phase, so it's
That-
We
really
think the
short.
reality is that it'll be 6 to 8 weeks, though.
I mean,
I think-
no, very slim, but 6 to 8 weeks, and have joyous journeys on the whole time as well.
Yeah.
And
We
like have
need
joyous
joyous
journeys for
journeys.
all of Phase 3.
I mean,
already
honestly-
know Scotty J's got 7 Joyous Journey videos ready to go. So do I.
Yeah.
We're ready to go. Just waiting on the announcement.
Well, I mean, that's what you want and all, but looking at how many people have not killed Algalon, Phase 3 is going to be a lot of people trying to shore up Ulduar. And if they don't nerf it, I don't know that people do.
It's really getting me that Lady Vash feeling where our guild basically exploded because of her. And yeah, you don't just like reform after they nerf it. They're like, hey, yeah, well,
Right.
let's all come back together, guys, after we quit. It doesn't work that way. So I don't know. They probably got to do something soon, but
Yeah. Well, okay. So next on the list, we did talk about Ani, the new dailies. So are you going to be able to, because I'm looking at all of these vendors, because I've been unlocking the different factions. And there's a lot of those emblems you need. And I'm only able to get like 5 to, I don't even remember how many, like 5 or 10 a day on the current dailies. Is there going to be other ways to get these little marks that you spend
believe you're going to
everything?
get them from the actual dungeon, the 5-man dungeon. I
Do you get it
think.
from the
Yeah,
dungeon?
yeah.
Did you get any
And there's-
from the
there's just more-
raid?
There's more daily quests, so because there's more daily quests, you'll just get more naturally. But you kind of remember when you didn't do the jewel crafting daily, you just keep doing it because you were supposed to be doing it the last like 2 months,
I
and by
know,
not doing
yeah.
it, you're very far behind now.
I've
but-
only got my main
Yeah.
faction, and I just unlocked Darnassus last night and moved to Exodar. So
I would say if you get all of those done, and you'd be chilling. You don't really need that many marks or whatever they're called, because like what are the rewards really? You get the tabard, right, which is a teleport.
I want the
to-
mounts. There's
the
3
mounts are
mounts
great.
on
If you're into
each
collectionism.
vendor. Yeah.
What I want is the Argent Pony Bridle, which I believe is 150, and that allows you to also have bank access if you don't have G's. So it's the squire, little kid will run back and get you your stuff, which is nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah, but
that.
it's a 4-hour cooldown, so it's not even close to as good as Jeeves.
Can we just talk about the optical illusion right now of Jerome's arm? Because I thought
It looks like backwards.
You know what's weird though? Not to derail us, but one of my arms is a lot bigger than the other one. I don't know why. But
Well, no, it was like the way you had it.
I
it
might
was
have
like
an
your
idea,
hand-
Jerome.
I have no idea why. It's like the same thing.
Why one arm is bigger than the other? I've got this one big arm, this one big pectoral.
I don't know. Weird. Yep.
You'll be able to
Getting us
start
off
getting
topic.
heirlooms as well, won't you, from dailies? Like, I mean, champion seals you're going to start getting from the 5-man. You don't get anything from raids. But yeah, it's another way to be able to get heirlooms, even though it's a lot of a longer way to get heirlooms.
Yeah, I would not get them that way. I don't think.
If that's what you're into.
Torture.
It's interesting.
The quests are going to be fun, though. I mean, they're gonna fill out the northern area that is kind of a ghost town right now. And
I mean, is there any need to do these dailies? Like,
I have really looked a long time to try to convince people that there is a need. There is not a huge need unless you want mount, or if you
Okay.
want the teleport to because you sleep in on raids and you want to teleport right to the raid.
Yeah, the
Or
gear
if you
is
want
booty.
The Squire kid with the pony bridle. You can already get the kid, but
Yeah, the gear is like only item level 200, and like it's like, dude, you can get a lot better gear just doing stuff that takes a lot less
it's really
time.
cool looking gear, though. I've looked at all the different pieces.
Oh,
They
really?
look sick. Yeah. And
It
back
is-
in the
it-
day,
that's the
people
thing.
went crazy for it.
We moan, I moan a lot. There's nothing to do outside of raids. But then when there is things like this to do outside of raids, no one
Like
can be
that.
asked to do it.
I mean, I've been
It's
doing
like
it
they
every
add some
day.
cool stuff, and it's like, it's crap. I'm not doing
If
that.
this doesn't make me
Right.
stronger, I'm not going to do it. I don't care about all
No.
these mounts and pets and all this awesome stuff. Who cares?
And the thing is, I was doing this like every day, when it was in original RAF,
Yeah.
and I just can't be bothered to do it again. Like it's
Mhm.
This can't
it's
be
not got
bothered.
the same charm that it
I'm
used
still
to have.
doing it. It's relatively fun, but I don't do all the quests. I don't go out and do like the jousting quest in the south part of ICC. I'm not doing that. I'm not
See,
going all the way down there.
And I'm the
Yeah.
opposite. Like,
You
I
don't have a
never
mount.
did I never did Noble Garden. I never did any of the holiday crap back in the day. I never did this stuff back in the day. Like, it was literally 5 to 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, like raid prog, and that was it, and then like trying to like figure out how to get consumes for the next time, like that was all I was doing, and I wasn't doing any of this extra stuff. So now I get the chance to do it, so I've been doing it.
Yeah, whereas I'm the opposite. Like, if you looked at my retail account, I've done pretty much every achievement there was to do from when achievements came out to when I quit. So, like, I said I was going to do it again. And then I think I'd done, like, the first 2 or 3 world events and was like, yeah,
Nah.
I ain't bothered. I'll get whatever achievements I get just naturally. I'm not chasing them.
If I had
Right.
done them already, I don't think I could muster the strength to do it a second time.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never doing any of these different holiday events ever again. I'm doing them now to say I've done them. Not gonna be bothered to do it ever again.
And I
though.
only do the parts that are required for the like main achievement, right? Like,
The
I'm not
meta.
worried about the extra achievements there. Nah.
I think the thing is for me as well is I sort of treat Classic as a private server. Where you wouldn't do that on a private server. I know some people do. I know some mental cases that have gone on and done like the insane on multiple characters and stuff. But like you don't because it's what you'd class as a like throwaway account. You go on, you have your fun, and then like once the server's like the cycle's finished or whatever, like you're done. You're not playing again.
Yep.
And I sort of see Classic a bit like that because of the uncertainty of what's next. If they was to launch a season of Mastery where it was like wildly different, it was like TBC with RAF talents, or it was a RAF
Mhm.
seasonal server with harder content, I'd be dropping my main and off there,
Right.
and wouldn't even think twice. So you don't know, like, I don't see the point of putting all that time and effort into getting achievements when at the end of RAF, depending on what direction they take, depends on whether I'm even going to log on to this character again.
I do think if they end up doing Cataclysm, there's an almost guarantee that they're going to eventually merge your Classic with retail accounts. Like, it would have to happen, right? Because if they're going to keep going, right, they're going to do Mists of Pandaria and all this stuff, you got to at some point get the timelines together, right? You got to link them up. I know there'd be uproar, but it would kind of like, so technically some people might convince themselves they're working towards merging together eventually.
Oh, you're
That'd be
saying
crazy.
you could transfer your character to
Yes,
retail?
yes. Yeah, make it eventually connect with retail. If they're going to do Cataclysm, if they're going to stop at Wrath, no way. But if you're telling me they're doing Cataclysm, they've got to eventually merge the two.
Oh, they're definitely going to do Kata. No doubt.
Well,
Yeah,
the rest of
I
the
agree.
XP people are working on kata guides, so I mean, I'm just the business. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no,
They know
they'll
something.
be doing Kata. I'm not saying they won't do something else as well, but yeah, Kata, I would say, is just like 100%. They was putting Kata
Yeah.
surveys out before RAF even launched.
Right. Yeah, I think there's no chance they don't do kata, to be honest.
I like it.
And
It's very orange.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Scotty
looking forward
J's
to the
somehow gotten all the way into kata. He's convinced himself he loves kata. He's raiding every night or something.
No, not every night, every Saturday. But yeah, no, raiding on whatever one it is I play on. Whitemane, isn't it? Yeah, Whitemane's Kata server. But yeah, I enjoy it. I like the changes. The thing is, I'm like so invested in RAF. Whereas TBC, because I've never been that much of a fan of TBC, play it for the sake of playing it. But, while yous were all raiding like BT, Sunwell, everything, I was playing on RAF private servers.
Mhm.
Whereas, because I love RAF that much as I want to sit and play the Kata server, I just can't.
That's
I'm
why.
like, no, I'd rather log on RAF and raid. Like,
That's
I'm
why
really struggling.
Yeah, that's why I'm not. I want to do hardcore right now so bad, but like hardcore is going to be there. Like it's going to be there. Like Wrath, I'm trying to live it up now, right?
Enjoy
Like,
it while you can.
Exactly.
Not coming back. Well, it might, but not right now.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Trial of the Crusader and Trial of the Grand Crusader. Trial of the Crusader is the normal mode. Trial of the Grand Crusader is the heroic mode. They did say that they were definitely doing the change to where you can only do one. So you can only do either heroic or normal on 10 and 25 mode.
Please change that, please.
Or at least change it to where you can toggle it depending on the boss, maybe. Like, so if you do choose to do heroic and you get stuck on boss 3, like you can at least go back to normal and get some loot before the end of the night. Like,
isn't that just like how it is now? Why would they change it?
They don't want people to run 4 raids a week.
Yeah, but they should. Like, it's the one thing I feel really strong. Like, I like TOC. I want to put it out there now. Like, I know it gets a lot of hate, but I actually like just going into a raid where there's no trash, 5 bosses, and you just blitz it and you get loads of loot. Like, it's fun. Like, some of the mechanics are good. Faction champions I hate. The rest of the bosses I actually quite enjoy, and I'm looking forward to them. Yeah, looking forward to it. Like for a change of pace from Ulduar. But on the basis we've already said once during this podcast that phase 3 is a bit lackluster, there's not going to be that much to do. Why remove 50% of the raiding content? Like, why? Like, most
they're
people
expecting you to keep doing Ulduar.
Yeah, but you can do like eventually you're not going to need normal, are you? You'd only be doing normal. Like, normal 10-man is like kind of optional. Like the same at the moment. I do Nax, okay, like maybe on 1 or 2 characters a week. Whether it's to help someone who's freshly dinged or whatever. So I'm still doing content that technically I don't need to do now. Like with 10-man normal being like such low item level in comparison to other options that you can go and raid, it's not going to be an essential raid to do every week. It's just gives you something else to do. You'll go and a normal raid night for most people is what, 3 hours on average? Is that fair to assume? About 3 hours is an average?
Yeah, I think that's average.
Time?
We do 2.5, but I think average is like probably 3. Some people go up to 4.
In 3 hours, you could go and do all 4 difficulties of TOC. Like, literally, you could split your raid, go and do 2 10-man normals and heroics, and then join back together for 25-man normal and heroic. And, yeah, that would get a bit mundane after a while, but eventually you're just like, after, I don't know, say 3-4 weeks, you'll be like, right, let's drop 10-man normal. We don't need to do that anymore. Now you're just going to, and it's slowly going to get shorter and shorter to the point where all you're doing is 10 heroic and 25 heroic. And 10 heroic's always worth doing because you get trophies. So you're going to actually be able to upgrade your proper, get the good tier, not the heroic tier. And for those people that like, there'll be a lot of, when I say a lot of guilds, there will be guilds that might not even really bother going back to Ulduar religiously every week. If they've already got a couple of Valaniers on their Paladin and Resto Druid or something like that, and maybe every other week they're going back to Ulduar. I don't know why you would want to remove raiding content. Like, if there's too much content there, surely that's a nice place to be.
Right.
I would rather not get through all the raids a week, but they're there, than run out of content to do by day 2 of reset and have nothing to do.
There are a
Yeah.
lot of weird locations too, like trophies drop from 25-man bosses. And if you're not doing 25 normal, then you're not going to have as many trophies, right? Like there's all sorts of weird, like now there's going to be less tier gear at the start. And I don't, there's just seems like all sorts of things they haven't thought about with this change. And like Bob said, where it's like you have trouble on a boss, so you go do normal mode instead, right? It's like you're feeling forced to do the heroic modes. Maybe your guild isn't ready. Maybe that's going to cause a lot of frustration. And then what Scotty J said, where it's like, maybe you won't even be going back to Ulduar. I know Squilly, who runs a lot of the GDKPs I'm in, he wasn't maybe not planning on doing as many Ulduar GDKPs because a lot of the high rollers aren't going to want to go back. It was like, I don't know. I don't know if Blizzard has really thought about the implications of every part of this decision.
Okay, so let me
Yeah.
clarify. So you can do one 10-man and one 25-man per week. You can't do, you can do both 10 and 25. You just can't do
Yes.
both normal and heroic.
You used to do all four.
All
So you would
four.
do the 10 heroic, 10 normal, and then the 25 heroic, 25 normal. So that will no longer be possible.
So I'm just going to say, I like that. I don't want to do 4 raids in a week. Let me
That's
just
what
put
Blizzard
that
thought,
out
yeah.
there, okay?
Yeah.
But I do think that they had a great system in Ulduar where you could switch between normal and hard mode bosses. Why would they not just put that same system into TOC? Like, why would they not just say you can do 110 and 125 man and you can choose each boss, whether it's normal or hard mode?
Well,
I
Ulduar
have a feeling that's
famously
what
had-
they'll
I have
do.
a feeling they'll do that. Yeah.
I love
We
that a
think they
lot,
will.
but Ulduar famously had like the buttons and stuff, right? It was all these different mechanics to trigger the hard mode, which required a ton of work and dev work, and it took forever, right? And so TOC was like, we're out of time. We got to make a raid really quick here to tide people over. So they didn't think about all that stuff.
They'll do it just like ICC, where you literally just right click on your portrait and change the difficulty.
That would solve everything, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
they will.
yeah.
Like, more or less, I'd put money on it. That's exactly how we're going to get it. But like I don't know. That completely invalidates attempts as well, don't it? So when you go in heroic and you've got 50 attempts, you go and do the first boss, and then you switch it to heroic. Well, now you do first boss on heroic, and then you toggle it to normal. How's that then going to carry over? Because now if you switch it back for, I don't know, let's say twins, you do Jiraxis on normal and then you switch it to heroic for twins, you're not going to have 50 attempts remaining because you've killed one boss on normal. So does it reduce your attempts by 10 every normal boss you kill or something like that?
That would be good. I think that would.
Oh, wait, you have a certain amount of attempts? Is that?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah,
this
wait,
raid
yeah.
at all.
There's a tribute chest system, so you get a chest at the end of the raid as like a bonus reward. And based on how many wipes you've had, there's more loot in the chest, basically. So if you have no wipes, you get all sorts of all the stuff. It's kind of like the Chuck E. Cheese or prizes or whatever. You get everything. Come on, I don't know the best example for that, but yeah, you get all the rewards, including like a mountain stuff in the chest. And then if you wipe, the more you wipe, the less in the chest, right? And then if you're on normal mode, there's no chest at all. So
yeah, so I think it like you either when you switch it to normal, that's your heroic. Like done. Do you know what I mean? So let's say again, you've done the first boss on heroic. If you then switch it to normal, you now can't switch back to heroic.
So punishing though, because like it just doesn't feel. I don't know what the
What's in
solution
the
is.
chest?
So there's everything's in the chest. Like you get the regalias, which are like the tier tokens, right? You get. I mean,
But you
there's
don't
like
get them after. So like you don't get those things after every boss. You just get them at the end.
No, you get them from on a boss by boss basis as well.
Yeah.
You
But
get
you have what's
extras.
called a
a bonus
tribute.
chest.
Yeah, you have like what's called a tribute run. So depending on how many attempts you have, so as long as you as long as you full clear heroic, even if you only got one attempt left, you're going to get tier tokens. Whereas then the next level is weapons, I believe, which is like 25 plus, and then over
Eventually, it's like the
45 is
cloak,
another.
right? The insane 272 item level cloaks come from basically not wiping at all. And it's like-
272 is with 50 attempts, and the mount, obviously. A
yeah,
mount
it's
and
like,
cloak.
oh my god, if you can do that, I mean, you're going to be balling. And there's
So
also a weird thing where if you wipe 50
Let me
times,
clarify.
the
Let me
bosses
clarify.
disappear.
So we have the number of wipes you have. So if you wipe 10 times, if you wipe 20 times, you get less loot if you wipe 20 times than if you wipe 10 times. It's not
There's different
dependent on how
brackets,
many
like,
times you
thresholds.
right.
If
But it
if you
doesn't.
wipe once, you do not get the best loot. As in
Yeah.
one wipe. One wipe means you
Mm-hmm.
won't get the 272 capes.
But don't you think that would be a good compromise? Like you'd say, hey, you only get this chest if you do all of the heroics. Like that's the benefit to doing
too much loot in it. It's too it's too useful. It's too important.
But you only get it in heroic right now. Like if it were to come out as is, you would have to do heroic to get the chest, right?
Yes, but if you want to, like, I think it's too punishing because some people will want to do some of the heroic bosses, but not all of them. I don't know.
But if you want the chest, then you have to do all of them. Like, and I think that's where I'm at is like, if you want the chest, you have to do all of them. And then you'd get out of this, like right now when we go into Ulduar, we're like, does anybody need this hard mode? Because if not, we're just going to brush through it normal, right? Which is fine for us because it makes it quicker and whatnot. But if you want the chest, I think you should have to do all of the hard modes. I don't think you should get a discount for doing one of the extra.
That's probably a fair solution, though. I can imagine being in a GDKP that doesn't get the chest, we're going to disband probably if we don't get that chest.
Yeah, the difficulty is with the attempts, the counter. So, like, what you're saying makes sense. Yeah, if you kill one boss on normal, it invalidates you just can't get a chest. But you still need the attempt counter there because you know that don't mean just because you've killed a boss on normal you get unlimited attempts now on the last boss, so you still need that counter. And I think if you kill a boss on normal, it should remove some numbers off that counter. Otherwise, what you do is you kill the first 4 bosses on normal to get maximum amount of attempts on Addon. So on the last boss
would help with progression too. Like if somebody was really struggling with the last boss, like they say, hey, we're going to kill everything on normal so that we can progress on hard mode the last boss, and you get the maximum attempts and you don't get rewarded with the chest because you didn't do everything on hard mode, but at least you're closer to being able to do everything on hard mode.
Soul sounds great, but why not just have all 4 modes so you can just do
just
however you want to do it instead of like this crazy new system that's going to take them like weeks to figure out how to do it without it being complicated. And like just let us do all 4 of them, right?
I don't want to do all 4 of them. No.
Okay, well,
but you don't have to. You don't have to do all the content that's available. Like I don't do the Argent Crusade dailies because I can't be bothered. And I know, yes, if you do all 4, you're going to get more emblems. But at the end of the day, that's going to be relevant for what, a week? It'll take us about a week before we've got all the emblem gear we need anyway, the way things are. So I would just have all 4 in. I don't see a downside.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the gear, because a lot of the best gear is just 258. So if you've been collecting a whole bunch of 252 gear, how exciting really is this?
It's 258 from hard mode, or is 258 from
hard mode
normal?
25?
Well, it is important to note that the tier set bonuses for a lot of classes are insane. Like
they are.
Resto Druid, right? The 4 set, the rejuvenation now can critically strike. So like that's the kind of thing where it's like that changes your entire gear. Like from that point on, you're like a critical strike person, right? You want to have some crit. So it's like everybody's got these like crazy set bonuses. So I think it's not just the pure stats. Yeah, the pure stats are not that much different, but the set bonuses start to be really broken.
Okay.
And you've got to remember, it's a for anyone who uses tier as well. It's like as in if you use tier 8 and you're going to tier 9, at the moment you're forced to use 232 gear. You're not using 252.
That's true.
So you're going to potentially be going from 232 gear to 258 gear.
Yeah.
Like that's massive. Like massive jumps. But yeah, when you're just comparing Ulduar hard mode items, which you might have 4 or 5 of, it's only going to be those 4 or 5 items that are not going to be that exciting to upgrade. But the rest of it, like as a holy paladin, I'm well excited, to go from 232 to 258. As there will be like Resto Druids, for example, as well. So I think it's a big jump. And the capes, that's what you're raiding for. Like, everyone's going to want the capes. Like they're just so good, and that's the excitement of TOC. It's more the tribute is the fun part of TOC, not the actual like the raid itself, if you like. It's about doing it, and that first time you get through it with 50 attempts, and when you're on the last boss and your hands are literally sweating because one wipe and that's it, no 272 loot. It's exciting, and doing it with 0 deaths. As well.
It's going to be very challenge run oriented, kind of like phase 1 with Nax. Where it's like people want to do deathless runs, they want to do wipeless runs. It's going to be more about like, how can we do this safely instead of doing it like, how can we do this in the fastest possible time?
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I hated TOC for reasons different than the actual raid itself. It was a little weird without the trash. Like, I always hate trash, but for some reason it hit me weird. But honestly, the gear was the biggest problem, because you got to think, like, my 252 gear back in the day was 239 or whatever it was, I think, like, because it wasn't the change that they made,
Yeah.
you know, in
And the
Ulduar.
232 was 226, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it pissed me off after doing all that work in Ulduar just to come in and like fairly easily replace everything. And
yes.
it pissed me off so much that I fucking quit. Like, and I didn't even get to see IACC.
A lot of people quit because of that. That's why they did all this crazy Ulduar changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was really frustrating.
So wait, clarification. You can't wipe, but you said you can't have anybody die?
So
What is
if
that?
That's for a separate achievement.
Yeah, you get it. It's just like the Nax achievements back in phase 1. But yeah, it's the wipe itself that affects the loot from the chest.
Yeah, so
that's why you bring 9 druids, so you can just wipe. You can die as many times as you want. Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to enjoy it a lot more now, just because everything's different, and like the work to get it done is different. Like, everything's completely different now, so I'm enjoying different things.
Yeah.
That I didn't back in the day, and not enjoying things that I did back in the day, because it's
okay.
just
Can we
different.
talk about this real fast though? Because Jerome just brought up a good point as to so now Feral Druids have been buffed and are really good.
Yes.
And if every wipe you have is a consequence.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to make Druids OP.
Yeah, Druids are really good. Yes, they're going to be amazing.
Like, even better, right?
Yeah.
You want as many soul stones and combat reses as possible.
Yeah. Right.
Not even joking.
Bob.
Well, I'm making my
all I
Feral
have
Druid in
to
the
say
background right
is
now, so.
For Nomrigan.
I don't know what else to say.
In TOC, in our first run in TOC, I'm not even joking. I'm going to run 3 boomies, 2 resto druids, 2 ferals. That's minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 7 druids minimum. Plus, there's going to be 3 or 4 warlocks in that as well. So
yeah. What are you going to soulstone the boomkins just to make sure if they?
Yeah, if they die, they can get back up. Exactly. I'd like more ferals than boomies, but we've got 3 very, very good boomies. Well, we've got 2 very good boomies, and we've got Blorby. I'm only saying that because I think he's watching.
World record speedrunner
he's very good as well.
Hardcore all-star superstar.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So what else did I want to hit on? Trial the Crusader. Do we want to talk, like, is it too early to talk about any of the bosses? Like, you guys, like, I don't remember. I was looking through the different strategies. I was like, I don't remember any of this. Like, I must have been mentally checked out when we were doing like
PvP
our
trinkets.
first few weeks of Prague.
Really? Is there like
faction champs PvP? Faction champs, yeah. So which is basically like a PvP fight. So yeah, having PvP trinkets to get out of stuns and stuff is actually useful. But yeah, faction champs is not. I'm
an alliance. We all play human, so
yeah, you'll be fine. But no, I think the bosses are fun.
Yeah, they're fun, and it's actually kind of a fun healer raid. There's some weird healing mechanics, like a noob you're not really supposed to heal. I believe at like you want to keep everybody low health, and then there's also like a part where you have to healing parse on Jiraxis, I think, right? Where you have to pump somebody to like break a shield. You have to pump them with heals.
Yeah, they get a curse on them, and then there was I can't remember what it was. So if we was to get a completely pre-nerf, there was something that never actually made it to PTR that Ernest was telling me about a couple of weeks ago, where there's a curse that goes on someone and it does damage, and then it jumps from one person to another. And if you start getting behind on the curses, this is on Jiraxis, like it just starts ramping up to the point where you have to wipe. And it's seen it on one private server where they'd actually implemented it, but it was something that just never made it to live back in original RAF.
Well, I haven't
Be interesting if they put some of them mechanics down.
Yeah, I haven't cast one since 2006. So
your raid's going to wipe.
Yeah, we will. A lot.
But no, like you said, there's a lot of fun mechanics. Yeah, where you're keeping people under like 20% health. Yeah, for the leech that Anob does. Yeah, I mean, I like the first boss. I like watching people fail to the charge.
The charge is amazing. Yeah. So what's his name? I would say Blue Giant Gorilla Man. What's his name?
Ice Hell?
Ice Hell. Ice Hell like does like a charge across the room, right? And whoever he charges has to get out of the way or they die, right? And then he like enrages or something if you don't. I was recently taking notes on all the fights, but I think he charges across the room and whoever you have to sidestep him. But if you get hit, he like enrages, I think.
Yeah, but if he hits the wall, he then takes extra damage and he's stunned. So you wait for the first charge, then lost him and big nuke.
Yeah.
What's this?
Actually, really, all the fights
people
are
getting out of the way.
I won't move ever. I'm just gonna let myself get charged. Yeah.
What's this? What's this? A noob raid mechanic and how it like interacts with shamans? What are we talking here?
Well, you don't want to. I don't remember the exact reason, but you do not want your raid to be high health. I believe he puts he drains the health of somebody specific, and you don't want to. Is that correct?
It's the whole raid. So he leeches health based on the percentage of health that the people are on. So the whole raid needs to be kept under like 20% is normally the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Keep everyone under 20%.
If you heal,
but then you'll have
out of the raid. Yeah.
but then you'll have a couple of people get like an ice dot on them as well, where they need spot healing. So everyone keep them under 20%. Obviously, keep the tank stable, and then the people who get the dot on them, make sure you obviously prioritize heals on them. But yeah, it's a fun healing mechanic, not actually spamming. Trying to keep people as low as possible, and that literally is the aim. I say 20% because that just gives you a nice buffer. But the lower you can keep everyone, the less health that Anu actually leeches.
What's it have to do with shaman?
Oh, they heal, right?
Well, I'm trying to figure out
shaman?
Because in chat they're talking about what about the Anub raid mechanic and shamans? Like, why?
Is he talking about an ancestral, not whatever it is, where as a shaman you heal and then it heals a second target? Is that what he's talking about? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Healing stream, you just said.
Oh, healing. What about it though?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a shame because the fights are so good.
Does he mean about just having a shaman in each group and just leaving like a totem in each group and then not really focusing heals?
Oh, I don't like that. That takes my job as a resto druid, so we're not going to be doing that. No way.
What am I supposed to do during this fight?
Totem,
just sit out?
and same with vampiric embrace too.
Yeah. I mean, but that's sort of just a given, isn't it? You're really gonna, the spot healing's gonna go on the people with a dart, and then if you've got a shaman for each group to have healing stream, lovely. If you've got, whatever, couple of shadow priests, it's all healers shouldn't just be spamming. That's the bottom line.
But I really think this is the fights are great. The lore behind them is not great, but I think that if you can get beyond the part where the lore is kind of like underbaked on the fights, I think they're actually really good fights. Like the mechanics are just as good as the Ulduar fights.
Let's not forget. Sorry, Jerome. One other thing before we go on to anything else. It will be when you downrank heals as well. It'll be the only time in Wrath of the Lich King when you'll actually downrank.
Cool.
Oh, I love that. I hadn't considered that.
But I like that type of play.
It'll still cost the same amount of mana, but you'll downrank just so you can, like a shaman can pump out chain heals and know that it's not going to do massive heals, but it'll do you'll have to find the sweet spot of what rank that you want to use.
If you made a video on that, I would definitely click that because I'd be like, what does he mean downranking his back? I'd be really, I would have to know why.
I mean, you both need to make that video. Yeah, but you guys both need to make that because that probably would get some clicks.
Confuse a lot of people.
All right. Anything else you want to add to the different bosses?
I'm sure there's going to be more in-depth discussion on bosses and future podcasts, but
yeah. I mean, I don't think we get into until the PTR is out. I don't think we really get into strategies and stuff like that.
I just want to say, I really hope they don't PTR this for a month and then 3 months of this patch. It's a good patch. It's not bad. It just needs to be short. If it's 8 weeks, it's perfect, and no more than a week of PTR at most.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to need that much. If they're not making massive changes or any changes, it won't need that much testing anyway. But yeah, it will be. But that's why it's not worth talking about tactics, because you just don't know, do you? Like I said about that Jiraxxus debuff, if they was to add in some sort of a mechanics that was never implemented before, just to make it a more interesting phase, I'd actually be all for that. Actually, yeah.
I would love some new mechanics.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah, I don't see them messing with that though. Like they even said when they did the Ulduar stuff, they didn't plan on messing with that with TOC or ICC, but hoping the ICC gets the ramping buff. I'm hoping like that gets looked into at least before we go. But that's a conversation.
No buff.
Yeah, that's a conversation for future for sure. But any last thoughts? Have we missed anything in phase 3? Like, I'm trying to think.
No, dailies, gems, the raid, the dungeon.
Yeah, we even hit on possible Ulduar hard mode nerfs. Scotty doesn't want it. Me and Jerome are all down for it.
The new battleground is Isle of Conquest, right?
Isle of Conquest, yeah.
Which is apparently a very good battleground. I never played it. It's sort of a combination of like Winter Grasp, AV, kind of all your favorites.
Is that the one where you spawn and you go to the door and you and everybody's trying to get in the door? The big door?
Yeah, and you can go to the docks, or you can parachute down into their base, and there's the glaive throwers.
Great,
I was wondering.
The rewards seem kind of low unless they change something, because before people loved it because you got marks really quickly, I believe, from what I read. People loved it because you could just, really quick games, kind of rush through the games. Now it'd just be pure honor. I don't think it'd be very worth it to do, but maybe they'll have to give you something else for doing it.
I do actually like Isle of Conquest, to be fair. It is one of the
great.
PGs.
I mean, they put a lot of work into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that one.
And then there's Emelon, and Emelon is going to be super relevant. Because you also get
VOA boss.
From that, new VOA boss. Now, Scotty, he knows everything about VOA bosses. He'll make you a full guide any day. I don't know much about Emelon myself.
All the VOA bosses are it's all free loot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, before it used to actually be kind of a pain in the ass for certain factions on certain servers. Now it's just basically free. Although we had one raid night where we couldn't go do VOA at the start because no one on Benediction won a single Wintergrasp game for the Alliance.
I believe it. I believe that. I've tried Alliance. Wintergrasp does not go well usually.
Have you ever seen that happen? Like, that was the only time I ever saw where we couldn't do VOA because someone did, like, at least one Alliance for Benediction didn't win.
It's because the human ratio wasn't very good yet, but now it's getting better, and they'll be able to start winning Wintergrasp finally.
I was just curious because like that was the only time, and I was like, wait, really? We can't go to, because like that was so weird to me because like back in the day, like that was often a thing, like for
I like that too. I like that we weren't always able to go in there.
Yeah, and that was the hard part of that boss, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why it's a loot pinata. Like, but now it's just you can do it pretty much any time. And that was I was just curious if you guys ever ran into not being able to do it because that was the one time,
and I was really annoyed. So yeah,
it was weird. All right, well, if there's no other thoughts, nothing.
Not from me.
I feel like we've given a lot of
PTR, but you know what they could do before TOC? I mean, right during the middle of TOC is give us those classic deathless servers we're all waiting for, and that'll just really tide us over while we're waiting for ICC.
Well, here, okay. What about real quick then? What are your thoughts on? Hold on, I gotta know the name correctly. What are your thoughts on? It's not there. What the phase 5? Like we shouldn't. Should we have Ruby Sanctum now too, and just downgrade the gear?
I'd say no, personally. But
they gotta give us something we can do for the 7 month before Cataclysm comes out,
or even have it in tuned, and just like most people just can't beat it.
That'd be awesome. No,
I-
that's Scotty J's dream for Onyxia is just make her like impossibly hard.
I'd release Ruby Sanctum at the same time as ICC, but the attunement, if you want to call it an attunement, to actually get into Ruby Sanctum is you've killed Lich King 25 heroic.
I love that.
If you killed Lich King 25 heroic, you can go straight to Ruby Sanctum. And then for those who haven't, Ruby Sanctum gets released, I don't know, like 8 weeks, 12 weeks after ICC. Just it's open to everyone. That's what I do. Because once you've killed Lich King 25 heroic, then being able to get that extra gear from Ruby Sanctum don't matter because your progress is already done.
Right.
They kind of want to stall it out though, because I mean they got to give us something in between the ICC and Cataclysm. That could be a really long time.
When do we think they're going to release TOC?
It's got it mid-May. I feel like mid-May.
About
feels
4
great.
weeks, I would have said from now. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like we already have a ton of bosses in ICC. This seems like the place where it would like actually fit better, but maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people have said the same thing. It's more for me is like what if you had the item level the same as let's say TOC, say it was 258 gear, so it was that hard mode, like TOC heroic item level. Some of the items in there are like bonkers, as in like the armor pen trinket, is absolutely amazing. It will, I don't know. I think it could potentially make ICC a little bit easier having access to some of these like really strong trinkets. They're just itemized really well. So the actual item level that they are is kind of irrelevant.
Gotcha.
Or would you have it as 272? Because at the end of the day, you can get 272 gear from TOC, the capes. So do you have that as 272? And then in which case, if you can get 272 trinkets before you even go into ICC, I
Too much.
Wouldn't be a fan personally.
Okay.
Of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never did Ruby Sanctum, so I have no clue. I've just heard a lot of people talk smack on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, really, Wrath's over when the Lich King dies.
Yeah,
That's what
I think everyone
everybody
will feel the
says.
same.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I think that's going to be it for this week. Should we do an add-on of the week?
Nope.
No. Actually,
they are good add-ons. They are nice.
I am going to do one because it's going to be really good for people doing PTR coming up soon.
It's my spot.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
I love that add-on. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our add-on of the week.
All right, guys. The add-on of the week this week is My Slot. It is a add-on that makes it easy peasy to take all of your settings and move them to a different character, a different server, a PTR, whatever. Like does all your bars, does all your macros, does everything. It basically just like copies what you had and makes it so logging into the PTR isn't just like, oh, I don't want to do it, So My Slot. It sounds like Mr. No Hit Jerome has used this a lot.
Yeah, so I use a very similar one, which is Action Bar Saver, but this is I believe My Slot is better. And it's so good for like you're doing like classic WoW speedrunning and like you're starting new characters because you keep dying in hardcore over and over again. It's so amazing to be able to load all your bars and your macros and everything. Otherwise, that's like you go for 30 levels, you've got something wrong, you've got something broken on your bar, you don't even know what it is, and you have the wrong rank of spells and stuff. It's so nice to have a way to quickly load everything back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the most annoying parts about making a new character.
Oh yeah. And then PTR, it's like it takes me 30 minutes to make a new PTR character every time.
100%.
And for TOC, you're gonna spend more time setting up the characters than actually raiding.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
And it's so nice. And when I made my second rogue, I was like, I logged on my main rogue, copied my combat, then swapped over, copied my assassination setup, boom, other character ready to go immediately. You know, it was
Does
just
it copy
beautiful.
weak auras as well?
I don't know if it does that or not. Actually, no.
I've never used it before. So I've literally just installed it while you're talking about it. So I'm going to have a look at it.
Yeah, it is
So yeah, if
awesome.
it done weak auras as well, that'd be pretty awesome.
I first heard it from. I first heard about it from Crix. Shout out to Crix. Hashtag free Crix. Crix is back, guys. He's back. He'll be streaming. I think his first stream, he told me it was on 22nd or the 24th. I don't know. You should.
That's awesome. I'm so glad he's back.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. But yeah, my slot is beautiful and it will save you so much time. So definitely recommend. All right, guys, let's start to. Whoop, we just lost Scotty J.
Bye, Scotty.
I'm going to start to close us out while Scotty's reconnecting here. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send an email, send it to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join our brand new Discord, go to discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded or check the link in the description. We're going to have a good time and I'm here. And so definitely join this Discord. I promise we will reply to this one. Promise. That's discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded. How can you help the podcast? Well, you guys are still killing it on audio platforms, Spotify and iTunes. We haven't had an iTunes review in forever, but we just keep getting bigger on Spotify. So I don't know if iTunes just is no longer the place to do podcasts, but either way, you can leave a review there. You leave stars on Spotify. What we do need a lot of help with is the YouTube. And I asked you guys last week, and you guys came through. Like, the YouTube had just been going down and down in views, and you guys just brought it right back up. Leave a comment, click that bell, like, subscribe. Just leave a comment that says anything. You know, it just helps. It just makes it so YouTube puts it in front of more people that might not have seen it. So help us out there. And yeah, that's oh yeah, and if you're gonna get a guide, use code Reloaded at checkout for 5% off of Rested XP guides. Link will be in the description as well. Mel, where can we find you? Oh, you're muted.
You can find me on my characters, or now you can find me in the Discord.
And where can they find that Discord?
Discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded. I did it.
She killed it. And
Good job.
No Hit Jerome,
Totally
where can we
confident.
find you?
All right, so I just made a TikTok. Seems like a great time to start. No, I'm on YouTube. No Hit Jerome. You'll see me slightly under the Scotty J videos, but still around, still nearby, close enough.
Dude, you. I don't understand why you haven't blown up more. Your videos have been muddy for 6 months now. You've been killing it. Like,
I remember a quote from Scotty. He said this like 2 years ago on a stream. He said, or maybe a year ago, he said he wishes he had started sooner. Right? That's the reality. If I was doing it for 5 years, I'd be in good shape. But it takes a long time.
Right.
yeah. Well, guys, definitely check it out. I mean, he's got great, concise videos, good humor, good script writing, like great effects. Check him out, man. It's like he is definitely evolved from his your streaming multi-boxing.
Yeah, we don't talk about any socks or anything like that. There's nothing weird going on. Very normal over there. So yeah,
Normal.
very. Yeah.
Check him out. And Scotty, where can we find you?
In No Hit Jerome's comments on YouTube, because I'm normally watching his videos, copying his stuff just so I get more content
No,
out.
it's the other way around. Look who did the Epic Gem video first.
Oh yeah. But no, yeah,
Way to do
Scotty J on YouTube, and I keep saying it every podcast that I am going to start streaming again on Twitch, but I will eventually. I've had a bit of a change around, and yeah, I'm going to start streaming again. But at the moment, I haven't got time, or I can't be bothered. It's a bit of both. I'm normally, because I raid on NA, from like 2 a.m. till 5 a.m. I'm just knackered all the time. And I'm raiding like 5 days a week on NA, 2 days a week on EU. It's just, it's a lot. But no, I do want to start turning the stream on.
But yeah, Scotty J has like amazing YouTube videos. He's really the king of them right now. So
don't be silly. You are. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps.
Stop it. Yeah.
But then think about the podcasting game. I mean, there's the king and the queen right there. So there we go.
Absolutely.
We bring on cool people like you guys.
Yep. This show is made by guests. I don't think anybody's tuning in for Bob and Mill's hot takes.
No, for sure.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find this show live and me streaming all kinds of weird stuff on Twitch.tv/BlazinBob. Link in the description.
Good job, Bob.
Okay, we struggled through that. See you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.